Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the 2020-2021 Nerd Olympic Games. I'm your host, Ben Magnet, being brought to you virtually, not from Tokyo, but from my living room. I am joined by two gold medal winners today from today's events. With me is Brandon T. McClure, winner of the I Don't Give Shit About Sports, and also Comic Collector Gold winner. You won 2 gold medals today, sir. How do you feel?
You know, I feel good. It was a hard one, it was hard getting there. But you know what? I persevered, and I succeeded.
Riveting. And also, I am joined today representing the country of Liberia. All glory to Dr. Doom. And no, I'm not making fun of that name. That is actually the name of the country. Ryan Eliopoulos. Ryan, I saw your supreme leader, Dr. Doom, talk to you earlier today before your match. What did he say to you? Because I can only imagine he'd say, win this or you die.
Let me tell you, seeing Dr. Doom in person is like a lifetime experience. And once I saw him, I said, I love you. And he said, you better. So it was fantastic. I couldn't be happier.
Well, I'm glad to see that you shall survive another day. And another gold medal winner today. Unfortunately, he was scheduled to join us, but he could not. He is actually in his second gold medal match today against Snake Eyes. It is Sparks Witty, and I am receiving reports now that he is actually about to win his match point in his sword fighting match against the representative Snake Eyes from Japan. Anyways, let us continue on to the rest of our program tonight, which is episode 249 of the Fake Nerd Podcast review of Snake Eyes.
I'm on a new level.
Can you imagine? Can you believe it? Next week is 250.
Hell yeah. Yeah. All thanks to Henry Golding. Thanks, Henry.
Henry Golding is the sole reason why we made it to 250 episodes.
He's on a new level, you guys. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm on a new level. No, that was the trailer.
The trailer song, yeah.
It's a good song. Hop off.
Ben, if I may.
Yes, you may.
We have links, just a few, not many. Real quickly, we have finished Fake Nerds Watch for Loki. All 6 episodes of Loki. We have disembarked from the train that we were on since the beginning.
Good train.
But they are all up now. All 6 episodes of Loki. Episode 6, for all time, always, is linked below.
Mm-hmm.
So you can check that out and check out the rest of them. But don't watch Loki until you watch that episode.
Spoiler alert.
Wait, reverse that. Don't watch our episode until you watch Loki.
I'm about to say, we spoil everything in that episode.
Reverse spoilers.
It's like Willy Wonka was like, strike that, reverse it.
And Ben has Old School Gamer Magazine. Your new article is linked below.
Yep, new article from last Monday is linked below. It's about this little app called GameEye, which is a very neat tool for organizing these little things, your video games, and I actually kind of dig it. So if you want to hear all my thoughts, go ahead and check that link down below.
Yeah, so definitely, those are the only 2. Ryan, you do not have a Downright Annoyed this week because we're recording a day early.
The future is now. It's tomorrow.
So, but you're doing Downright Annoyed tomorrow. What is the movie?
It is. It's out of my reach, but it was my week. It's Swingers, which is a 1990s Doug Liman comedy starring Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau.
Nice. Doug Liman, really? Wow, I didn't know he directed that.
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
It is. I'm excited to watch it again tomorrow.
And that's basically it. That's all the links we have down below. So check those out, and welcome to the episode. I forgot what I do next. Who wants to go first of their week?
I'll go.
Go, Ben, go.
Yeah, I did jack shit.
Yep.
Like literally, I didn't do anything. It was just go to work, go to sleep, go to the gym. I didn't do any reading. I didn't get any video games played. Really, the only thing I did that was fun or like media consumption wise was watch Transformers War for Cybertron Earthrise because Brandon and I recorded a thing. So here and I did that.
That'll be up. That's an Animation Station episode that will be up this week.
Yep. So that's going to be up later this week. So I didn't consume traditional media, but I did find a new podcast that I really like listening to. I want to give this a little bit of a shout out. So, are you guys familiar with someone called the Illuminati? And spelled IIL, and it's like the word naughty, NAUGH.
Yeah. On YouTube, they have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, yeah. It's a pyramid head. She does say her real name, Blair.
They're so good. I love them so much.
Oh yeah, she is awesome. It is a she, right?
I don't know. That's why I'm saying that. I'm not supposed to be safe.
I'm like 90% sure, but if anyone who also watches Blair the Illuminati and I misgendered them, I apologize in advance.
No.
But yeah, so one of their videos just popped up on my YouTube thing. It was about Butch Hartman and his scandals with Oaxium or what?
Oh yeah, Oaxis. It's his
Oaxis, yeah. That streaming service that streaming service that turned out to be that is like, hey, it's not faith-based, but it totally is faith-based. And I had no idea Butch Hartman was like this. So I watched that episode, and then when I went back,
isn't Butch Hartman the creator of Fairly Odd Parents?
Yeah.
Butch Hartman. Danny Phantom stuff. Dude. Yeah, he's super, super, super conservative, and he tried his hardest to get that shit into the cartoons, and Nickelodeon was like, "No way, Jose."
Oh my god,
super talented guy. No doubt, but like, definitely was like trying to get kids on the Jesus train.
I remember when he released future versions of the Danny Phantom crew because he wanted to get a reboot going. And everyone was like super, super excited about it. But that's the last thing I ever heard about Butch Hartman until just now. And that was almost 10 years ago.
Unfortunately, him and his wife have been into some shady shit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And even he himself is like, he's not a good boss. Because there's 3 shows Illuminati does. It's Multi-Level Mondays, which that was another rabbit hole I felt I started listening to because it's all about like those MLMs like Cutco. Pyramid schemes. Essentially, yeah. Companies that say we're not pyramid schemes, but they're totally fucking pyramid schemes. Sorry. So that is a really good show. I love listening to it. Their episodes are about like 20 to 30 to 40 minutes long, and essentially that helped get me through my week. Besides listening to Brandon's episode of Conversation this week, which was really good.
Oh my god, I'm such a bad person. Towards me. There will be an episode of Conversation linked below when this episode goes up tomorrow. Yes, there is a new episode of Conversation out. Thank you for reminding me. I totally forgot. I talked to Andy Palacides, where we talk about his podcast, The Great Derelict, and we talk about fandom, sci-fi fandom specifically, his journey in fandom, a little bit of sports fandom because he runs a Formula One podcast. Which he says is his more successful podcast. All of that, it was a hugely fun conversation. I highly recommend listening to that one. That's one of my favorites I've done. No mean to play favorites, but still,
it's all good. So yeah, so I listened to that, and I have to definitely give a shout out to Illuminati. It is a very well done, well researched paper. Pretty much video essays. I learned stuff about Victoria's Secret that I never thought I would know. They're super. Oh, goddamn!
What's the secret?
Well, originally
child labor, horses.
No.
Child horse labor.
Oh my god, pony labor.
No, God, no. Essentially, all the really bad misogynistic things you could think about.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, especially to the models, because the models really did not like working.
I mean, it's a brand that's been around for ages. That is, I don't know for sure, but is run by men. 80s. Has been run by men, probably for the entire time. Yep. I totally believe that.
And the guy who took over the business after the original founder, because the original founder committed suicide because he wasn't making enough money.
Whoa!
Yeah, jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge.
That's the secret.
Yeah. So the guy who took over Victoria's Secret is also the guy who ran the L brands or L whatever the limited or whatever the frack the name is. Yeah, that guy was also in league with Jeffrey Epstein.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of regretty in that. So
you have learned a lot. You have learned a lot in this for this podcast.
Yeah, right now, an episode I'm listening to right now is about Donald Trump's stuff going to MLMs, and that's Unicron's head, isn't it?
There's a little Unicron.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Sorry for the audio listeners. I got a green screen. I'm having a good time. I'm sorry.
Essentially, audio listeners, it's Ryan's disembodied head in space.
I love it.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Yeah, it's just some. I'm like looking. There's like so many episodes I wanted to like focus on. A Family had an episode that was like I knew they were bad, but didn't know they were that bad. You got. I can't wait to listen to an episode on Activision Blizzard because there's an episode on them, And also it's all and also all the episodes that Illuminati's doing, it's all recent stuff. Like I think the farthest back, the only time they go super far back in a company's history is when they're talking about the history of a company.
Yeah.
So and they're like, hey, this is what's going on now. And then it's like, but also here's like my sources, here's where. So it's not like one of those things where it's like, oh, it's just some person on the internet trying to sound like they did the research. Oh no, Illuminati did the research.
Sure.
Oh yeah. They did an episode on Herbalife, and I remember that because my mom did some Herbalife when I was growing up.
Yeah.
That's
so
the pyramid scheme.
Yeah, Mom, if you listen to this, I'm sorry, but Illuminati also did a thing on a brand called Juice Plus, which my mom is very into, and I have taken in the past. And no, not that juicing.
I know.
But as I'm listening to I see Juice Plus, because there are times where I was sick and I wasn't feeling well. My mom would be like, hey, take Juice Plus. I'll make you feel better. Hey, take Juice Plus. Like there was a time where I had like a common cold. She'd be like, make sure to take extra Juice Plus. That can only help. And I'm like, okay, sure. Turns out it helps.
Brand loyal.
Yeah, it technically helps a tiny little bit, but if you were to take like a thing of Juice Plus compared to like maybe eat an apple and a few grapes, you would get more good stuff through the apple and a few grapes than the Juice Plus.
You know, I've been told an apple a day keeps the Juice Plus away.
That's a good one.
Any other things, Benjamin?
No, not really. I saw a movie with Ryan today. That was fun.
We'll review it in a minute. Oh man.
Well,
Ryan, do you want to go next?
Spending time with Ryan, that was the fun part because we had friendship.
It was there. It was us. I also didn't do a lot this week. Today, because it's Saturday, I worked today, so I worked and then I saw a movie. I played some more Ghost Rider. That game continues to be there. I saw Brandon was playing, or he was talking about Marvel Superheroes 2, and Kang's in that game, so I bought it for $5, and I played it for about 30 minutes, and I'm like, that's about probably all I need for right now. That game's fun, but like. It's a Lego game, and it's not bad, not at all. Like it is a good game. Like it starts with the Guardians and King, like all that stuff's fun. It's just cribbing the MCU very hard, and like Chris Pratt and like that version of Star-Lord. I'm like, yep, I know what this is. This is cool. So I'll probably play more of that later.
Yeah, that was a criticism I had when that game first came out, because the first game, Lego Marvel Superheroes, was very heavily like comics inspired. Like these are the comic versions of the characters. But Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 is like, now we're the MCU, but they've also got the Marvel, the post Secret Wars costumes for a lot of characters. So like Iron Man, that's the Secret Wars costume. So that was a weird like mesh that they tried to balance, and I don't think like design wise it quite worked.
Yeah, and that's an unfortunate problem that just Marvel had in general with all of their products that weren't the movies. They're trying to just ape the movies in a way to like try to get more people into that. But yeah, I remember playing that first superheroes game, and like that one is totally original and fun, and like Mr. Fantastic turns into like a teapot. I'm like, man, that's a good time. I played some Avengers, I played some Fortnite. I watched an episode of Motherland with Sparks, who's not here, unfortunately. I keep using my hands to gesture to places, but I got green screen hands. I saw a Snake movie with Ben.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Actually, there was one other thing I want to talk about real quick. So both of you are familiar with limited run games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
What limited run game did you get, Ben?
So this totally happened by happenstance. I'm not gonna lie. I'm at my home. I'm just looking through Twitter for a hot second because I'm gonna go run errands, and then someone puts up a picture of these limited run games that I've actually been wanting to get, but they're essentially variant covers exclusive only to Best Buy. Okay. It's Shantae Risky's Revenge, and Shantae and the Seven Sirens.
Ooh, triple threat.
So, and also not only that, Panzer Paladin got a limited run Best Buy exclusive variant cover. All three of these games were like $35 to $30, so they weren't expensive. They're cheap. So of course I checked to see. It was like, when did these come out? Oh, they came out today. Oh. Does my store have them? Oh, my store has 2 of the games I'm looking for. Actually, they had 3 of them. I didn't get the third one. So I go to the store. I look. I try to find it in the shelves. They're not there. So I ask a guy. The guy's like, "Well, it says we have it. Let me go check in the back." I got the only 2 they had.
Oh, I recognize those games.
Yeah, I got the original. This one, okay. I got the original Shantae in a physical version, which I have digitally on my Switch and my 3DS. But now I have a digital or a physical copy. This is probably going to stay sealed for a while. And the sequel, Risky's Revenge, which is a air quote variant cover print.
Nice.
Ooh,
but I can still. Yeah, so these were exclusive only to Best Buy. There's nothing saying it's still a limited run. You can see the limited run number that's right there. So this is limited run game number 84. And this one is limited run 83. But yeah, so I got these because Shantae and the Seven Sirens was sold out. Sold out everywhere.
Ben, I want you to handle the comments, but real quickly, Mag's in the comics. Mag, I'm glad to see you, as always.
Woo!
Bringing on binging on The Sopranos for first time. I've never seen it before.
Woke up this morning. Nice. Jumps out for gun. Wow, wow, wow. Hell yeah, Mag. I read one comic this week. I actually read it Sunday after the podcast before I went to sleep, so this is a week old. But I read The Silver Coin, #1, by Chip Zdarsky and Michael Walsh. This is an anthology, and I'm going to continue to read this anthology because it's about a silver coin, and then the silver coin just has devastating effects on the people who wield it, almost like a Wishmaster type of thing. Like you get the coin and then like something happens. The first one's about a rock star. You can imagine what kind of stuff happens. I posted a cool picture on my Twitter, a bunch of flames. The art's sick. Michael Walsh is great. It's really cool. I recommend that. And then now it's Brandon's turn.
All right. I also didn't do a whole lot, at least not a lot that I really wanted to talk about. This was kind of things are happening in my personal life that are awful. But I did get to watch the second G.I. Joe film, G.I. Joe Retaliation. And I've seen all of the G.I. Joe live action films.
All three of them.
Yay me, all three of them.
What's the? Oh yeah, the third one's today.
The one that we watched that we're reviewing today.
What other one was there?
I wasn't crazy about the first film, as I mentioned a couple weeks ago. I did enjoy this one though. I thought this one was an improvement. They kind of decided to stick to like a war movie, like a military movie, and go and like peel back the gadgetry and the G.I. Joe-ness of it. And I think for a movie that probably works because I'm not sure that anybody really knows how to handle the G.I. Joes in the live action setting. Because what are they?
After today, I still agree.
Yeah, like what are they really? They're not military, but they're UN, like paramilitary UN task force is really vague for people who haven't like just watched the show over and over again.
Yeah.
But it's got a good cast. It's got The Rock and Mockingbird. What's her name?
Ooh, Adrian
Pilecki. Yes. She's really good in it. I really like her in general.
Ray Stevenson's in it.
Ray Stevenson, he plays Firefly.
Right, he's cool. I remember him.
Yeah, there's also a lot of Jonathan Pryce having a grand old time playing Zartan, who's masquerading as the president.
That's right.
He's a lot of fun. And Zartan was always a fun character. I'm glad they kept that character going. And it sucks that Arnold Vosloo, who plays him in the first film, doesn't get a lot to do in this one because he's mostly just Jonathan Pryce.
Yeah.
But it's still a fun character, and Jonathan Pryce is having a good time. And you don't often see Jonathan Pryce just kind of dance around a set for a couple hours.
It's true.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Mag is saying, hope you check one of the modern animated films. Does he talk about G.I. Joe or?
Yes.
G.I. Joe.
I've heard good things about those.
Yeah, I think I will. I've yet to see, now that I've seen the bad adaptation of G.I. Joe, not to spoil the review, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. But I'm interested in seeing like what a good adaptation of G.I. Joe would be, if they're for me or not.
Yeah.
One of the things though that I didn't like about the G.I. Joe about this one is, and I get why, because it's weird that Joseph Gordon-Levitt is Cobra Commander. But you can definitely tell it's not Joseph Gordon-Levitt because this is an actor who is not having a good time in that suit.
No.
Whereas Joseph Gordon-Levitt in the first one is having a blast.
See, that's why, and I'm going to rewatch it. I don't know how soon, not to spoil my review of Snake Eyes, but like I kind of don't really care about G.I. Joe at the moment. But like that first movie does have the camp and the big like where action figures being smashed around.
Yeah.
That like Retaliation doesn't really have. That it is kind of just it's a better movie, but it's kind of just like a war movie, like you said. So like there could be a good mix of that, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm wondering what it is. Is it like a Netflix show?
Yeah,
is it like
that's exactly my thing. I think G.I. Joe exists in between both those movies.
Yeah, because it is war stuff, but it is big gadgets. Like it's like you can have both. Yeah.
And I think the first film was right to go a little sillier, but I also think this film was right to go a little bit more serious. I just think that there's the middle ground that they probably could have found that they just haven't yet. And the way they write up Destro is ridiculous, and I hate it.
Yeah,
because literally at the end of the first film, it's not spoil a 20-year-old movie, but when it's only like 11 years, I think. They give Destro like the face. He becomes like it's Christopher Eccleston, and he gets like the face, the chrome face, and then like Cobra Commander like does that specifically to save Destro's life and be like, we're gonna rule the Cobras together, Destro, and you can call me Cobra Commander. But in the second one, Cobra Commander is freed, and he just looks at Destro and goes, "You're out of the band," and then they kill Destro.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's weird.
I remember that. It's the problem when like you have an entirely new creative team like make the sequel, and you're just like, oh, we gotta like, who cares about that other guy? I guess. Yeah,
but I've been a little harsh on it because I wanted to talk about like there's reshoots that this movie that movie does that kind of makes it a little disjointed. Channing Tatum is in the movie far longer than he should be, but the Snake Eyes sequence is largely disconnected from the film. He doesn't connect to the film until about an hour, maybe less, into the movie. And I was wondering why he's in the movie until a spectacular action sequence happens on the side of a mountain with a zip line.
It's in the trailers, right? Yeah. I remember that.
I even posted the clip online. I even posted the clip on Twitter. I filmed my TV. It's awesome. It's one of the best choreographed sequences I've seen. It totally made the movie for me. It was a lot of fun. There's a bit where like bad guys are ziplining after Snake Eyes, and one guy slams into the side of a mountain, and another guy slams into him. I just loved it. But that's all I have to say about that one. So I'll move on. I watched the Loki Marvel Assembled special that dropped on Disney Plus this week.
That's right.
It's not my favorite of the Assembled series. There's like the Disney Plus shows, there's 3 episodes out, WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, both of which I enjoyed. The Loki one was definitely a fluff piece. And I'm a little tired of the current trend of behind-the-scenes footage, of behind-the-scenes specials, just being like, we thought about doing this for the movies, so we did that. And this went really well. So we cast this person. We wanted to cast this person, so we cast that person. Like, the special features used to kind of show the struggles of what a movie went through to get made, and those were not necessarily candid, but you look at like The Director and the Jedi, which is a great documentary about the making of The Last Jedi, and you look at the whatever the hell the one in The Rise of Skywalker is, which is just beat by beat. Here's what we decided to do for for the scene. Here's what we did that, and that's what the Loki one does. It's just like that we thought about this scene, we thought about that scene, and I'm sitting here going like, there's footage in this movie, there's footage in this documentary, there's footage in your trailers that are clearly from a different show that you filmed because this was supposed to be a different show before you started filming 90% of the show in the pandemic. You don't mention the pandemic once. Like, I just wanted more of that.
Maybe they just want fluff pieces, unfortunately.
And that's fine. Disney was the person who like started it. Now Warner Brothers is doing it. The Godzilla vs. Kong special features are a joke. And I get it. And I understand it because you don't want to tell people you struggled with something. Mm-hmm. But I miss the older special features, the ones that actually told you like the struggles they had to make the movie and made the movies feel a little bit more real.
Mm-hmm. But that's definitely like a thing where I just feel like special features just aren't what they used to be. I don't know if it's like a weird like old man thing of like, I remember back in my day, I'd get a 2-disc Blu-ray and I had all of the special features and 3-hour making of the movie. Like,
they also stopped putting deleted scenes in special features also. seemingly to imply, like the Godzilla vs. Kong Blu-ray should have had all the deleted scenes, or at least some of them. Because if you're telling me that everything you filmed ended up in that movie, I'm calling you a liar.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. I feel like there's also like, I say like a lot. I just realized, goodness. I'm gonna try to stop that right now. They want to put out multiple like SKUs and different versions of something, so they'll put out the regular version that doesn't have any of the special features for $30, but then they know you'll buy the 4K Blu-ray double edition with all the special features for $50 or whatever. I'm like, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's the thing about like Marvel. The Infinity Saga box set has all the special features that they never included in their movies, and I'm like,
you gotta earn it. You gotta want it.
That's cool, but I don't want to pay $300 just to see the Hulk bursting out of the Hulkbuster. I do want to see that scene, though.
$250 though, maybe.
And I played more of Knockout City. I love that game. I talked about it last week. But like Ryan, I played more of Lego Marvel Superheroes 2. I never beat it 100%, so I'm deciding to do that now, going back through and getting all the collectibles and all the characters and whatnot. But one of the cool things that I noticed is that I was able to download all the DLC for the game.
Nice.
I hadn't played any of until now. The DLC are mostly movie tie-ins, so you get like a Black Panther, an Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Infinity War. But you also get a Runaways, a Cloak and Dagger, a Champions pack. The Champions pack is really cool because it comes with Sparky, the Vision's dog. And he actually catches a Frisbee, a Captain America shield like he does in the cover.
Nice.
The Champion set comes with Amadeus Cho, as the Hulk, as the Totally Awesome Hulk, and you can transform him from Amadeus Cho to the Totally Awesome Hulk. It comes with Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Devil Dinosaur was a lot of fun because it's just a T-Rex running through New York, and that's fun. But there's also a Guardians of the Galaxy one where you can play as Ego, and Ego can turn into a planet.
He's not the size of a planet, right?
No, it's not the size of a planet, but he turns into the planet with a face, and he can roll around.
Amazing.
The DLC were a lot of fun to play, and it kind of gave me new content that I didn't that I had just not played before. Some just extra content, and all those levels were a lot of fun. The Infinity War one, you could play as the Black Order and Thanos, and came with a lot of really cool characters that I just never got to play with before.
How many does it say total? Do you know how many characters? I know there's a lot.
How many? There's like almost 200 characters in that game.
It's a lot of characters,
and none of them are X-Men.
Oh,
because you know what era that was.
You could have a whole Lego X-Men game with 200 X-Men characters.
The thing is, for those of you who don't know, there was a period of Marvel where they just didn't include the X-Men and Fantastic Four and other things.
Wait, how many Inhumans are in there though?
Black Bolt, Medusa, and Lockjaw.
Crystal?
Oh yeah, Crystal.
Okay, then you got the important ones. Okay, cool.
Yeah. There are Inhuman characters in the game. Lockjaw is fun to play because he's a bulldog, and I just like Lockjaw. I really like the character powers dynamics of that one, but the X-Men just weren't included in the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four were dead at the time, but you could play as the X-Men and the Fantastic Four in the first Lego Marvel Superheroes. So it's like, come on, people.
Yeah.
That's
just dumb. That's just dumb business.
The last thing I want to talk about is I've been talking about the Tales of Arcadia series that Guillermo del Toro and Mark Guggenheim do on Netflix for a long time. Troll Hunters, Three Below, and Wizards are three great series that showcase some of the best of DreamWorks animation. A final movie came out, the Avengers Endgame of the Tales of Arcadia franchise. This is Troll Hunters, Rise of the Titans. Gorgeous animation, awesome fight sequences. There's a sequence where a robot comes out of an alien portal and fights a Titan. And it's straight out of Pacific Rim, and the physics simulation is great, and it feels like you're watching Pacific Rim for a second. Awesome character work. All the character arcs come to a great kind of conclusion, and I really love it. Until the last 5 minutes.
Whoa!
Is it because it ended?
No.
No.
They make a decision that I will not spoil for anyone, but they make a decision that I'm not sure I'm okay with. because it fundamentally changes everything that had come before, and I don't think in a good way.
Oh, everything you knew is wrong?
Not necessarily that. It's like this is going to be vague as hell that only Ryan's going to get. Do you remember when Green Lantern, when it was revealed that Hal Jordan Green Lantern was only Green Lantern because he was closer to the ring than Guy Gardner?
Oh, that sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a similar feeling.
Does it like feel like it takes away like the character's like like power or like growth or something?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. I don't even know like what it is, but yeah, that always sucks no matter what. Especially for like an end thing. That's a bummer, dude. That sucks.
And this is a franchise that I really love. Like multiple moments of this movie, I was crying. I thought a lot of the character developments, it was really great seeing some of these characters again. Awesome stuff. And then they make a decision where I'm like,
could you end the movie 5 minutes earlier in your mind and then everything's okay?
You would need a different epilogue. Because something really catastrophic happens before this happens that ends a character arc really beautifully, really tragically. And if you had just kind of continued, fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
But they didn't, and they did something else. And I'm like,
this for sure is an end. It's not like, we might continue it in this way.
Yeah, this is Mark Guggenheim has been talking about it like this was the ending that we always envisioned. And
wow.
I'm like, was it though?
That sounds like a bummer.
Because again, like, and I'm trying to like rectify the fact that like 95% of this movie is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to keep that in my mind. Like the 95% of that movie is brilliant, and I loved it. I really just wish I didn't remember that last bit.
Yeah, that does sound like a bummer. Yeah, because again, everything is great, but then you still have to like get somewhere for it to like mean something. And like if it doesn't mean anything, you're like, oh well, the journey. Oh no.
There's a great. They introduced new like trolls. Like they introduced dragon trolls. Where the two dragons, or the two like real dragons have to like fight their way out of to get this like sphere. It's it's
chewing on something. Sorry.
No. It's okay. There's a lot of great stuff, and there's a lot of great animation. I really like the cast as always. Real quickly, Captain Hook from Once Upon a Time is one of the main characters, and that was awesome to find out. That guy rocks. Colin O'Donoghue, I think.
Nice.
I'm thinking of Rumpelstiltskin. Never mind, different guy.
No, that's
Robert Carlyle.
Carlyle. Yeah.
He's the best.
Also played Durza in Aragon.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I still want him to be the Doctor.
He could be a cool doctor. Yeah.
He'd be intense.
Yeah, wouldn't he? All right. But that's all I got. That's really all I should say. I wish I could say more about Troll Hunters, but I'd have to spoil it. And I know Sparks is interested in the franchise, and I don't know how many other people are interested. So I don't want to say too much more. But
yeah, definitely don't ruin like the end game. Yeah.
But that's what this was, the end game, and that was really cool to watch.
That's good.
All right. Shall we do our B&B?
Let's get into the bees.
I should or we should just sit around in silence for 20 minutes actually.
Can we not?
Let's not.
All right, so we got some miscellaneous news up top. All right. We kind of go in descending order. We are going to talk about Comic-Con a little later, but there's not a lot about Comic-Con this year because it's at home again. So
oh my god, I didn't even know it was Comic-Con
right
until like I saw someone talk about it and I'm like, oh my god, what?
Yeah, I watched a couple panels. They're fine.
Yeah,
I only knew that Comic-Con was at home again because someone I went to high school with is working for Lord & Miller, and she posted a thing on Instagram, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. If I wake up in time, I'll totally watch it. And I totally did not wake up in time to watch it. I'm sorry, Aubrey.
All right, so Dune. We're actually going to be talking about Dune twice in this in this bread and butter section. Dune, the Sisterhood, has a showrunner now. This is the new spin-off prequel to the movie coming up.
Apple TV.
HBO Max, actually.
HBO Max, that's what I said.
Diane Ademu John, who is one of the executive producers and I think main writer, not Mike Flanagan, on the Haunting of Bly Manor, has been hired as showrunner.
That's awesome. That second season, I don't think is as strong as the first, but it's definitely got really good like character stuff. So like Dune's all about like cool characters. So like that's cool. I'm down.
Yeah, I'm excited I'm glad that they have faith in Dune.
Yeah, I'm glad that the show is still happening because, like, I just don't know how well that movie's gonna do, man. I just don't.
I'm worried about it.
Yeah.
Mags says best something about DBZ. Ben, real quickly, pop it up.
Yeah, he says same DBZ on Sleeping In.
There's something for Dragon Ball Super that we will talk about later.
I was like, what does he mean about Sleeping In? I was like,
Marvel Studios kind of let it slip. Victoria Alonso, who is the executive VP on at film at Marvel Studios, and I think someone being groomed to replace Kevin Feige in 10 years.
Oh yes, I remember you saying that. Yes.
This says they are launching a mini studio that is dedicated to animation.
Good.
Yeah.
Listen, real quick, we got time. We've talked about it before, but like a decade ago, Marvel was the bee's knees. Spectacular Spider-Man, Wolverine, and the X-Men, and then there was another one. There's another one, but I forgot.
Avengers, Earth's Mightiest
Avengers,
Heroes.
yes, thank you. Earth's Mightiest Heroes, yes, that one's great. Trifecta, they were going to do all kinds of mergers, and then just like Bing Bang Bomb, not going to happen. And now we just got a bunch of shows that are just fine. They're all just fine. They're just fine, and nothing is worse than just fine, you guys.
I don't even remember what Spider-Man show we're on.
It's called Spider-Man. I think it's just called Spider-Man.
Just Spider-Man?
Yeah, just young.
But is that
Peter
what happened to Ultimate Spider-Man? That's gone, right? Yeah, exactly. See, I don't see this shit anymore.
I don't know anymore. I stopped caring.
I think it's gone.
I agree with Ryan. Hardcore. Those 3 shows are awesome. Some of the best animation, especially Marvel animation ever. I think this means that they said they're working. This is probably what's going to be working on What If from now on. Should What If continue past these 2 seasons? Plus more. I'm wondering if they mean spin-offs to What If, like series dedicated to some of the characters introduced, or is it going to be like new things set within the MCU proper?
Yeah. Why not both?
So Max said Spider-Man Ultimate finished its run.
Good for them.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay, but who did Maximum Venom? Was that Ultimate or was that Spider-Man?
Mag will tell us.
Mag,
I don't know. Anyway,
Mag, help.
I want to imagine that it will be a pure or like a real animated show. Not that What If isn't, but you know what I mean, like an actual this is our new Spider-Man animated show for Marvel or whatever, or sure. Iron Man show or whatever. Because like What If's cool, but like I don't want their animated stuff just be What If. Like they can branch out.
I think it would be fun. It would be good of them to branch out and do different animation styles.
Yes.
I don't know if this means that this is for like replacing the shows that are on Disney XD though. I think this is just for Disney Plus.
Yeah, because they did say it was like a smaller unit, so it wouldn't be like pumping out a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and I think the Disney animation stuff is run by a different studio, like run by Disney Animation. I don't know for sure though.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody reading the Kaiju score?
I have my hand up. I read the first 2 issues.
Well, it's getting a movie. I don't know if we knew this before.
Oh no, we didn't. That's awesome.
It's spicy.
Brian and Mark Gunn, who wrote Brightburn, and Journey to the Mysterious Island, which I just found out.
Also, James Gunn's brothers.
Yeah, Mark is his cousin. Brian is his brother.
There you go.
I just found that out. They are writing the upcoming adaptation of the book, which is about a heist that takes place during a kaiju attack.
It's a great premise, like very much like Army of the Dead. What if like we do a heist during a zombie invasion? Like what if like Godzilla is attacking a city, so you go rob a bank? Like it's a cool idea.
We talked about this before.
I think we talked about it when it was announced. The book.
Okay. Yeah. I think.
Because I picked it up because I heard about it.
Yeah. All right. Some casting news. Star Wars Ahsoka had 2 bits that are rumors, and I want to emphasize rumors.
Oh, the best rumors.
Mena Massoud, who was Aladdin in the Aladdin remake, has supposedly cast as Ezra Bridger, which, if true, good for him because he's been struggling since Aladdin.
Mm-hmm.
And Lars Mikkelsen, who played Grand Admiral Thrawn in Rebels, has been cast in the live-action Grand Admiral Thrawn.
That's a nerd's wet dream, you guys.
Yeah.
Like for real. Also, Mads Mikkelsen's brother. Lots of brother stuff going around. That dude's voice is so good. Thrawn is so good. I liked Aladdin enough. I want to see that guy succeed more. But I just really like that dude. Looks like Ezra. Hell yeah. Like hell yeah.
I think it'd be really cool if this is true. because bringing in these characters, I've wanted them to finish that story in this time frame anyway. So I'm hoping that this is true.
Yeah. Man, I just want to. Thrawn's like, of all the characters I want to see in live action, like Thrawn is like my number one for real.
Yeah.
Like that dude's got such a personality, he's so intimidating, and like so not like other characters in Star Wars, where I'm like, oh, I need to see him real man.
I still really wish that he was Richard E. Grant's character in The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. Is Thrawn how? Do we know how his age works? Like, well, no, like Lars is old. What am I talking about?
We also don't know how old he is at all.
Chiss, is that right? He's a Chiss.
I thought he's against the Chiss.
No, I thought he was a Chiss, and then he went against his own people because the Empire. He knew they'd win.
But the current books aren't the current books that he doesn't go against his own people. He goes to the Empire to try and save his people from the Chiss.
Did they change that? Because I like it better when he was an asshole.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't read the books. It's only hearsay.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah. I'm pretty sure like the Empire came to his land, and he's like, "Oh, let me help you take this place over, and then like I'll get a spot with you guys." He turned people in.
I know his backstory is different than it was in the original 3 books.
Okay. Okay.
But I don't know exactly what the changes were, and obviously I don't know his species name. But the Chiss is somewhere there.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Mag, where are you at with our Chiss update?
Mag is now our fact checker.
Yes.
All right. Injustice: Gods Among Us, the movie, had some news drop this week.
Quite a bit of news.
Probably means we're getting a trailer soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
It will be based on the game and the comic written by Tom Taylor.
I would hope so, because the comics are where the real good stories at.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the story of the game, but damn, that book is good.
And they specifically mentioned the Tom Taylor one, which means it's just Injustice Year 1, 2, and part of 3, because Brian Buccellato took over after that.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, awesome. That's the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We got a cast too, right?
We do have a cast, but we also have a director and a writer. Matt Peters, who directed Justice League Dark Apocalypse War.
Okay.
We like that one.
Yeah, is directing it. This is also the producer who did Mortal Kombat Legends, which explains why it's the same. We had some art. It's the same art style from that movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's written by Ernie Altbacker, who is currently writing Batman Hush, the 2-part animated feature.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Which is good. I liked it. But yes, as Ryan said, we have a cast.
Are we doing Hush again?
The movie?
Yeah.
It's out. The 2-parter?
Yeah, the 2-parter.
Yeah, it came out.
Yeah,
the Long Halloween that came out already.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Long Halloween.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Boy.
Oops.
I was about to freak out because I'm like, wait, but they already did Hush in the Dakamu. Didn't we watch it?
The Dakamu!
You're right.
Like they really messed up Tommy Elliott in that movie. I was pissed.
I'm really happy you brought that up because now I'm confused. So either this is the writer for Hush or the Long Halloween. So figure out which one.
Both are good.
Both are good. So whatever. All right.
I thought we
anyway,
didn't like the Hush movie.
I don't like how it ends, but I like it fine. Because they changed the ending and it doesn't make any sense.
It's been a while. Yeah, keep going. I forget.
The cast has been announced though.
I just had a near brain aneurysm for a second.
Smallville's own. This Is Us's own. Aquaman failed TV pilot's own. Justin Hartley. Will play Superman.
Look at him.
Good for him.
Everybody
I like him.
Everybody gets a turn.
Anson Mount. Inhumans' own. Star Trek Discovery Season 2's own. Anson Mount will play
Hell
Batman.
on Wheels.
I'm
sorry, Hell on Wheels. He'll play who?
Batman.
Oh yeah. He's good.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think both of these so far are great casting.
Yeah.
Laura Bailey, who is Last of Us, right?
She's literally she's like the most prominent female voice actor in the world.
Yeah. Well, she's going to be Lois Lane, so not a big part there.
Cool.
And Rama Kushna.
And also like an Indian god. Cool.
Yeah, the Indian god of death. Zach Callison will play Damian and Jimmy Olsen.
Okay.
Brian T. Delaney will play Green Lantern. Brandon Michael Hall will play Cyborg. Edwin Hodge will play Mr. Terrific and Killer Croc. Oliver Hudson will play Plastic Man. Gillian Jacobs from Community will play Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yuri Lowenthal, who we like, Spider-Man, will play Mirror Master, Flash, and Shazam.
Look at him.
Triple duty.
Yeah. Derek Phillips will play Nightwing and Aquaman. World famous comedian Kevin Pollak will play Joker and Jonathan Kent, the senior.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think his voice works.
Yeah, for Kevin, for Joker, I'm interested in that.
Yeah. Anika Nani Rose will play Catwoman. Reed Scott will play Green Arrow and Victor Zsasz. Ferran Tahir, who was the bad guy, not Obadiah Stane, but the bad guy from Iron Man.
Yeah.
And the captain from the beginning of Star Trek 09.
Yes.
He'll play Ra's al Ghul.
I know. I remember that guy.
Oh
wow, he is a good choice for a race show. Raz, whatever.
Fred Tatasciore will play Captain Atom.
Hell yeah.
Janet Varney will play Wonder Woman, and Andrew Morgado will play a Mirror Master Soldier.
Man, they got all the characters in there. Cool.
That's an awesome cast.
It really is. Man.
Well, quick little thing, but while you get your thoughts, Mag is saying about Admiral Thrawn. All I know is that he is loyal to his people, but would like to know more on the books or comics.
Gotcha.
Okay, so he's probably loyal to his people in the new continuity.
Gotcha.
Probably.
Yeah, I think this cast is incredible.
I'm curious because again, they're not pulling from like the other volumes. They're only pulling from the Tom Taylor stuff. I wonder if this movie will be one self-contained story, or there will be. What I mean is is one movie going to cover all of Injustice 1? Is what I mean.
Right.
Is Injustice 2 going to be Injustice 2 with Brainiac and shit? Or are we going to get multiple Injustices around this era? Because I think I'd rather get that because there's so much story. This makes me feel like they might be trying to tie it all into one thing, which isn't a bad thing. But it makes me think of Flashpoint, where you see so many different characters just thrown at you. So maybe that worries me a little bit, but we'll see. No,
I totally understand. I'm curious about that too, because Injustice, like the game, if you're making it based off the game, then you have two versions of each character showing up, because that's what the plot of the game is. And I wonder if instead, and what I've wanted them to do anyway, when I said that I wanted them to make it like the third story in Injustice, or just a story in Injustice, is if they're going to change it significantly enough that the animated version of Injustice wouldn't follow the game specifically. There'll be differences, there'll be changes.
So it would be like a true adaptation, whereas it takes like the core story but changes things about it.
Yeah. Like Scorpion's Revenge did for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Yeah.
I'd really like to see that.
As long as we still get Superman lasering Billy Batson's face in.
Or people were talking about online. That book gets brutal, but the people are talking about online about how much they hate the Nightwing death, and I'm like, I really like it.
Where he just trips.
Well, no, he gets hit in the head by Damian and he falls on a rock.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, breaks his neck. Oh, okay. It wasn't announced, but I know it's in the later book when Martian Manhunter invades Wonder Woman's body.
Oh yeah,
Superman has to heat vision Wonder Woman to get Martian Manhunter out of her.
Yeah, yes. There's a lot of really cool scenes in that book. Or when Bizarro and Jimmy Olsen are good friends, and Bizarro just drops Jimmy Olsen and kills him.
God. Oh, I think I forgot that part.
That's a brutal moment.
No, but I do remember is when Superman killed Oliver Queen in a Fortress of Solitude, and the ghost projection of Jor-El is like, "You've killed." And then both sets, like the adoptive parents, are talking to the ghosts of the computer ghosts of the Kryptonian parents, and they're like, we tried to raise him, and he's like, and then Jor-El says one of the most unthinkable lines in any Superman book is like, "I'm sorry I sent my son to your world."
Yeah.
Like,
and that's Tom Taylor.
Injustice 2, just as good, just as brutal.
Yeah.
There are some crazy scenes in that one that I can't wait for you guys to experience.
I haven't finished the game of Injustice 2.
I read the comic first. I'm going to play the game now because the comic is a prequel.
Oh, okay.
Because they can't have Superman escaping from them X-Men security prison in the comic, or else there's no game.
True.
All right. Batgirl. The HBO Max Batgirl adaptation. has cast its Barbara Gordon. Leslie Grace from In the Heights will play Barbara Gordon.
Nice.
Do we know if this is tied to Jeffrey Wright, Commissioner Gordon?
If anything, it's tied. If it's tied to anything, it would be the DCEU. So, J.K. Simmons.
Okay, that makes sense.
You know,
I forgot he was also Gordon. Yeah,
historically Hispanic J.K. Simmons.
Yeah. Not that matters really or anything. Like kids can be whatever. I'm just curious if this is going to be its own thing. Because like you kind of can't have a Batgirl without Batman. Like, I mean, you can do it, like, if you want to make a Venom out of it, but, like, you know, there's origins in the character. I'm just excited it's happening. Wish it wasn't on HBO Max, but, like, it's cool that it's happening.
Yeah, and Leslie Grace is I've only seen her in The Heights, and I really liked her. Cool. I think that'd be really cool. Warner Brothers is also planning 10 original HBO Max films next year.
Nice.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Superman. The internet willed this one into existence. Michael B. Jordan is officially developing a Val Zod-centered Superman movie for HBO Max.
Yeah. A lot of people are tempting for this one, and I'm actually kind of glad they got it, because Michael B. Jordan can definitely pull a Val Zod.
He is producing it with his production company, and it's likely he'll star, but he hasn't committed.
Okay.
Yeah. We talked about this, I don't know, like when this first happened, like months and months ago. With the story talking about.
I feel like this happened years ago, actually.
Well, so he's been in the running to replace Henry Cavill as Superman for a while. There's talks, there's not talks, there's a lot going around. The Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman film with J.J. Abrams came out, and we all thought that this is what that was. But that is separate to this. So there are two African American Superman films, Black Superman films in development.
Right on. Yeah, Val Zod's the president, right? President Val Zod.
No, that's Calvin Ellis.
I don't remember.
No, Val Zod is the Superman from
Earth
New 52's Earth 2.
That's right.
Yeah.
New 52, Earth 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was found after Superman and Batman were killed many years later. He's created by Tom Taylor and Nicola Scott.
That's right. Yeah, oh, you're right. I follow Nicola Scott.
And he develops a bit of a crush for Power Girl.
He's got a sweet costume too. The silver and blue is awesome.
I love that costume so much.
Yeah, Ben and I were the only two people who read that book.
Hey, okay, let's be honest. That book, when Val Zod showed up, started getting really, really good.
No, I'll admit, when Tom Taylor was writing it, it was pretty good. It just never felt like it felt like the Ultimate Universe. It felt like the Ultimate Universe did when it was dying before Secret Wars.
Yeah.
But that was the entirety of the Earth 2 book, so it felt exhausting.
Yeah.
I think I bought the first issue. I don't remember if I liked it.
Tom Taylor didn't write the first issue.
That makes sense, yeah.
We're talking about it wasn't World's End. Yeah, Earth 2, but World's End wasn't when Val Zod was introduced, was it?
No, he was introduced before that. World's End came much after.
Right.
World's End was the tie-in to Convergence, Ryan, if you remember that.
I'm trying to forget Convergence as much as I can.
It just won't let me forget about it.
I actually kind of feel really bad
because Future's End, Batman Eternal, and World's End were going on at the same time, and they were all leading to Convergence. And I was like, 3 weekly series at one time.
I'll just never forget. Because Secret Wars was coming out at the same time.
Yeah.
Around the same time, and I'm just like, the greatest event Marvel's ever published versus whatever the fart this comic book is, man. Just talking about two different, they were at such different levels in like 2012 or whatever, man. It's nuts. Bananas.
That was when we found the real Brainiac.
What really pissed me off about Future's End, we killed Terry McGinnis.
Oh. Yeah. He's back though.
Yeah, he's back. Thank goodness he's back, because I was mad.
The Batman Beyond book that came out of Future's End was so confusing. Because it wasn't the Future's End book. Future's End was so bad. Like, they were just like, Future's End, for those of you who don't remember, I'm going to really quickly just say, Future's End was sold to us as like 35 years in the future. Brother Eye has taken over. It's older versions of the characters trying to survive a barren wasteland. And then that's the free comic book day issue and the first issue. And then then they send Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond, first time in canon, like direct canon, interacting with everyone. Goes back in time,
but messed up
to 5 years before, but to 5 years after the New 52, the current New 52 timeline, and that was the book. And just everything was just sad and whatever, and everyone had tie-ins and things.
That 0 issue for Future's End is still probably like the best issue, because like it starts so hard, and like the final page is like Batman like dying, like screaming to like go get help, whatever. And I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be great. And then it wasn't.
Yeah, then it wasn't. And it was all about Brainiac coming to steal that timeline to put into Convergence, because that's what Brainiac did. He stole timelines before they were rebooted.
Talos. Hey, it gave us there were some good tie-ins, you know.
There were some good tie-ins. Those are the best parts, because you got to see like older versions of characters that you hadn't seen before in a long time.
Lois and Clark and babies.
Yeah, first appearance of John Kent. Batwoman news.
Sparks.
Unfortunately, Sparks isn't here to comment on this, but Victoria Cartagena has been cast as Renee Montoya. And I say cast, not recast, because she is playing a different version of Renee Montoya than the one she played on Gotham Season 1.
This is weird. This is one of those situations where like you'd think it'd be cool that like they're replaying the same character they played before, but they're not. They're playing a different version of the same character they played before.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that's cool, but like this is one of those opportunities where like you could have got a new actor to play that role. Like whatever, cool.
But also she had to audition for this. Like they took out a casting call and people auditioned and they were like,
she's still the best.
she's still the best. To be fair, I watched Gotham Season 1 is the only season of Gotham I ever watched, and I liked Renee Montoya. I was glad that she was in it. So I guess it's not a bad thing. It's just really weird.
Yeah. Maybe they have they want to do good stuff with her, and they know that she's a good Renee. So they're like, hey, why not give her the chance to do that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben, did you want to say something about this? You look like you did.
No, he loves Gotham. Biggest fan.
Anna Torv has been cast in The Last of Us as Tess. For those of you who don't remember, she was on Fringe.
Yes.
Lead female on Fringe.
Yes. Last of Us is so good. Tess is a great character. That's great.
And we're getting that show, which is apparently the most expensive show that HBO has done.
More than Game of Thrones?
That's what they said.
Damn, all right.
It's just a post-apocalypse. Like, what? There's no dragons. What's going on here?
Inflation?
It's probably all the CG for all like the overgrown death.
No, that's a good point. If they want like to have like really good like special effects for all the zombies and stuff, because they're not just regular zombies, they're like mushroom people.
Yeah,
the clickers, right?
Yeah.
I haven't played Last of Us, but I know about the clickers.
Also, inflation.
Yeah.
Money. Pedro, you get paid.
Okay.
Pedro.
Oh, God. All right. Black Panther Wakanda Forever, the sequel to Black Panther, has cast Michaela Cole from I May Destroy You as an undisclosed character.
Sweet.
Cool. She's not Storm. Everyone shut up.
Yeah. Did you see that the guy who plays Ursa Major was like, I was so happy to play the first mutant in the MCU, and everyone's like, oh, man.
Let him have it. He got cut out of the movie.
It's that meme where it's like someone looks around and is like, all right, who's going to tell him because it ain't going to be me.
Yeah. Sorry, Ursa. You're on the cutting room floor.
Still, I hope you come back and they're actually a bear.
Please.
Guys, do you remember The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina? This is comic book news, by the way.
I do.
We read it.
We read it. There's a show. There was a show.
I watched some of it.
Well, after 8 issues, after officially not being canceled from Archie, and the first 8 issues have been out for years, there's been an entire show in between that time. The 9th issue is finally coming to finish the Witch War story arc that started in issue 7.
Holy shit.
In 2017. Issue 9 is finally being released on October 13th. Roberto Aguirre Sacasa, who was the writer of Chilling Adventures, Afterlife with Archie, Riverdale, and the Chilling Adventures TV series, is finishing that story arc. And he says he's going to continue the series. I'll believe it when I see it. And Robert Hack.
After 9, he's going to continue it?
Yeah, he's going to keep going because it was supposed to be an ongoing.
Okay. See you in 4 years.
Yeah. Robert Hack, who is the artist on those issues, is also returning.
Cool. I mean, that's nice. Like, I mean, sometimes, life gets in the way. Like, I get it. Like, Hickman released like the final issue of S.H.I.E.L.D. like literally like 15 years later. So like, it's weird, but it's kind of cool that these things do get to happen. Let's hope it's
know why Sabrina's been on hiatus for so long? Is it an Archie problem or is it a writer thing?
It's because he's been the showrunner for Chilling Adventures of Sabrina TV series on Netflix and Riverdale on CW.
He's too busy.
Makes sense. Okay.
That's honestly why Afterlife with Archie and Chilling Adventures of Sabrina are officially not canceled, but they haven't had issues in years.
Okay.
They're just chilling.
Just the longest delay in years. What was that? Dying in the Dead? Was that the book that John Hickman did?
Yeah, I don't know if that ever finished.
Yeah, I read the first 3 issues. That was really good.
I don't even remember that book, but I definitely read it.
Yeah. He's also going to be starting a sequel series to the animated. It's not an animated show. To the live action show on Netflix, called The Occult World of Sabrina. Its first story arc will be Whatever Happened to Sabrina.
So he's going to continue the other book, and then he's going to do a new sequel to the show book.
Yes.
He's a busy guy.
Audrey Mock will be doing the story. Will be doing the art for this one. So he's doing 2 Chilling Adventures of Sabrina books. One set in the comic book continuity. One set in the TV show continuity.
I mean, that's cool. Get that money, I guess.
Yeah.
He's doing another show. He did 3 shows. Chilling Adventures was canceled, so he's just got Riverdale and that other show that I don't remember at this time.
Nancy, that's still going on.
What?
Yeah,
Riverdale. Yeah,
Riverdale's still going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the most popular shows on the CW.
Oh yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
I don't know for how much longer it will go on though.
Mm-hmm.
I dropped off halfway through season 2, so I'm done. I
never watched the second episode.
Yeah, I watched the pilot.
I watched the first season and I liked it.
I don't remember anything ever, but I remember this. You guys talked about the pilot episode of Riverdale on the Fake Nerd podcast on an episode that I was going to Chicago to visit my mom because I listened to it on the plane, and I'm like, this sounds weird.
That's funny. But I do remember that episode. All right. Black Panther Legends, the new book coming from Marvel Comics, written by Tochi Onyebuchi, and with art by Sator Fiadzigby.
Dope.
Those are names.
Those are really names. This will be a 4-issue miniseries, and real quickly, just the synopsis is: T'Challa and Hunter are brothers growing up in the idyllic royal palace of Wakanda. Theirs goes beyond the usual sibling rivalry, though. Hunter, although older, is adopted, and T'Challa is the true heir to the throne. Both brothers wrestle with fairness and the future, readying themselves for responsibility when tragedy strikes and takes the choice from them.
Interesting. Is this like a hidden brother we didn't know about thing? Because I
guess so.
Yeah, it sounds like that. Or does this sound like an Elseworlds, or like this is a new story for T'Challa?
They say it's an origin story for T'Challa, but I guess they didn't clarify if it was the main T'Challa or a different one.
Okay. I mean, it could be, yeah, like a 21st century origin for him. Yeah.
Yeah. Could be.
That's cool.
I just hope it doesn't turn into a Lion King thing.
Oh no.
Brother, help me.
Oh Jesus, that's what you meant. I was
T'Chaka!
Like, there was a Lion King origin story?
No. I mean, technically there was, but no. I'm talking about like the whole like 2 brothers, even though one of them's in this case one was adopted, and he's like, I should have the throne. The throne should be mine. But
it's Thor. It's the plot of Thor.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The brother who's adopted, and he's probably going to be like a White Walker, a white ape, an ape. What was the M'Baku's tribe?
Man-ape.
Man-ape.
Oh, white. No, they're white apes. I think. Yeah. Because they were like the white paint or whatever.
Yeah,
and they're also up in the mountains where it's snowy.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be one of them, and then reveal he's adopted when he touches a magical casket that turns him white.
God.
I don't know if that's racist or not.
Sometimes I just let my mouth go and I forget where it's going.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about, brother, Help me!
All right.
He puts the panther claws into Chaka's arms. It's like
now I'm just imagining like that, reverse that scenario, like everything that happens in Black Panther, but with the Lion King characters. Like Scar walks in, like, "Is this your king?" Like he's a lion. Like that'd be fun.
No joke. Hearing Jeremy Irons doing that, "Is this your king?" would sound really cool.
It would be cool.
I'd be into it.
All right. Marvel Voices is having another one shot. This one's called Community.
Ooh.
Or Comunidado, which is what it said in the solicitation. I wasn't being racist. This will have art writers and artists, the likes of Daniel Jose Older, Carla Pacheco, Terry Blas, Juan Ponce? Sure. Leonardo Romero and Edgar Delgado. That's writers. And then art, Enid Balam, Vanessa Del Rey, Adriana Melo, Leonardo Romero, Nico Leon, and Aletha E. Martinez.
Yeah. These are Marvel's been putting these out every couple months, and it's like this one's gonna focus on the Latinx community and stuff. So that's great. These are great little one shots. Everyone should support them. They're great.
The last one was Pride, and the one before that was Indian Heritage.
Yes, I think it was called Marvel Voices in Indigenous. I think
Indigenous. Yeah. That was. These are really cool things. Recommend them.
Yeah.
All right. Last year and the years prior, I've forgotten to do this, and this year I didn't. We were talking about the Eisner Awards.
Oh my gosh, Brandon! Real quick, first of all, one, thank you for doing this because I like awards. But two, I only like awards when things I like win, and I think that goes for really everybody. But specifically, this was just a super dope year for a lot of really good comics, and I was just so thrilled to see some of these winners.
For those of you who don't know, and I'm going to be doing this every year, the Eisner Awards are held at Comic-Con. This year, then last year they've been digital, but they are the awards for comic books. They are the Oscars for comic books.
Exactly, the Oscars for comic books.
So we're going to be talking about the winners. Here we go. Best short story went to When the Menopausal Carnival Comes to Town. It's a great name.
This I've heard so much about this. Yeah.
This one was written by Mimi Pond. This was put out by Graphic Medicine, Pennsylvania State University Press. So,
okay.
Best single issue went to Sports is Hell by Ben Passmore. Best continuing series went to Usagi Yojimbo by Stan Sakai.
That's incredible. That thing has been going on so long, still good. Nice.
Yeah, I know. I really want to get into it. Best limited series went to Superman's. I almost said Jimmy Man's pal, Superman. Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen by Matt Fraction and Steve Lieber.
That was
Yes. Go ahead, Ben. What?
No, I was gonna say that was your favorite book last year, wasn't it, Ryan?
One of them, yeah. I legitimately think Jimmy Olsen, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, is the funniest DC comic book ever made. Nothing compares to it. Like I've never laughed out loud so much in a comic. Every single comic, like it's insane. Like I've never read a comic like it. And it's also really, really like emotional, and like Matt Fraction just has a way of writing a really cheeky Superman that no one else writes, and I just really like it. And I'm sure we'll talk about this comic a little bit more as well, Brandon.
Did they ever trade it?
Yeah, it's trade. Yeah. Best new series went to Black Widow by Kelly Thompson and Elena Mazzagrande.
Oh, yeah!
Best publication for early readers up to age 8. There's a lot of categories. It's really cool. Went to Our Little Kitchen by Jillian Tamaki. Best publication for kids ages 9 to 12 went to Superman Smashes the Klan by Dean Luen Yang and Guri Hiru.
Oh,
that's incredible.
Yes.
That book's a good comic. It's really important. It teaches a great lesson. And this is why sometimes awards are nice, because sometimes things deserve recognition.
Yes.
I freaking love Superman.
Not the last time we'll hear Gene Yang's name, though.
Good.
Best publication for teens ages 13 to 17 went to Dragon Hoops by Gene Yang.
Nice.
Which is a book he writes and draws by himself.
Nice.
Which I had never heard of, which sounds great, and I want to try it out.
You're not 13 to 17, then maybe.
No, that's true. I'm 30. Best human publication, humor publication.
Oh my god, I'm just imagining it's like it's a robot. Best human.
Best humor publication went to Superman's Pal Jimmy Olsen by Matt Fraction and Steve Lieber.
Man, a lot of good books this year. Those are the funniest.
So that's 2 for them.
Hell yeah.
Best anthology went to Menopause: A Comic Treatment, edited by M.K. Serwick. This is the best short story and best anthology are the same thing.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Best reality-based work went to Kent State, 4 Dead in Ohio by Durf Backdurf. That's not right. Is his name really Durf Backdurf?
Listen, everyone has a name.
I'm sorry. Well,
Congratulations, Durf.
I'm sure I wrote that wrong.
Yeah. No, maybe his name's Durf. Let him be Durfy.
Ben, can you look up Durf Backdurf, please?
On it.
Wait, it reminds
give me the name of the book. What's the name of the book?
Kent State, 4 Dead in Ohio. This reminds me. We just gotta save the date for a friend who's marrying someone named Seaman, and the last person, the friend last name is Holden. So we were really hoping they were gonna hyphenate the name Holden Seaman.
Holden Seaman. Oh my god.
So
that's too good.
So the book is Kent. So it's by Durf Backdurf.
That's great.
I'm looking at the Amazon thing right now, and it's right there.
Listen, not everyone can have a name like John Smith, okay? So
that's true, but sorry, that killed me. I'm sorry. I hope it didn't offend you if you're listening to this.
Congratulations, Durf.
Congratulations,
Congratulations for
Best graphic memoir went to The Lonelies of the Long Distance Cartoonist by Adrian Tomin. Not as memorable as Durf Backdurf.
See? You remember forever now.
That's true. Best graphic album new went to, this is so cool, I love these categories, went to Pulp by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips.
I only read good comics, you guys. Just saying.
And best graphic novel, best graphic album, they call it graphic album, reprint, went to Usagi Yojimbo by Stan Sakai.
I'm really going to have to get on those books. I hope there's not like 100 volumes.
They have big ones. And every time I go to Barnes and Noble, I always look at the big ones because I want to, it's like the Invincible ones, like you want to get the biggest trade paperback. Yeah. But it's always like collecting the second series, and I'm like, I want the first series.
I want the first.
All right. Best adaptation from another medium went to Superman Smashes the Klan, adapted by Gene Yang and Gurihiru.
Nice.
Yep, hell yeah. It's a radio play, so yeah, they adapted it and they killed it, and it's amazing. And it's one of the best books I read last year. And that book should be taught in schools. Everyone,
I'm sure. Former comics professor Hatfield is teaching it.
Oh God, I hope so.
Yeah,
I really hope so.
He's a cool guy. We had a comics professor at our alma mater.
We did.
Nice. Best U.S. edition of international material went to Goblin Girl by Moa Romanova, translation by Melissa Bowers. Best U.S. edition of international martial art material, Asia, went to Ramina by Junji Ito, translated by Jocelyn Allen.
Good job, Junji.
Yeah, that was awesome. Best archival collection project strips went to The Flapper Queens, Women Cartoonists of the Jazz Age, edited by Trina Robbins.
Ooh, that sounds cool. I'm going to look that up.
Yeah. Best archival collection project comic books, The Complete Hate by Peter Badge, edited by Eric Reynolds.
The Complete Hate.
Best writer went to James Tynan IV.
Ooh.
For Something That's Killing the Children, Wind, Batman, Department of Truth, and Razor Blades.
Okay, so I saw James tweet something about he just went, and then like Tom Taylor and Donnie Cates were like, hey, good job, dude. I was like, what just happened here? I don't know what's going on. Did he win an award or something? No,
Tate Bromwell was also, for Barbarian, was also, no, I think Jeff Lemire was attached, but I thought Tate Bromwell should have been attached for Best Writer for Barbarian, which is fine. I don't really like Barbarian, but yeah, James Tynion, that's awesome. He's a really great writer. His stuff has been killing it lately.
Yeah, so, we're gonna hopefully find what is killing those children eventually.
Well, we saw it. Now we just gotta find its mother.
No, now we got to see what's killing these children. There's more children.
Right, different children.
Also, they killed the mother. They need to kill the babies.
Oh, right, they gotta kill the babies. Best writer artist went to Junji Ito for Ramino, Venus in the Blind Spot.
Beautiful, spooky, beautiful.
Best inker team went to Michael Allred for Bowie, Stardust, Ray Guns, and Moon Age Daydreams.
Oh shit! I forgot that book came out. Good job, Mike Allred. Oh man, Amazon.
Is that a book about David Bowie?
Yeah. It's like a comic book. It's like what's it called? A biography, but like in a weird comic book like story.
Oh, okay.
Looked infinitely better than that weird biopic they tried to do a couple years ago. Did that ever come out?
I've never seen it.
No, that's not a couple years. That's like a recent thing because we talked about it on the podcast how bad it was.
Stardust. Right, it was called Stardust.
I think you're right. Yeah.
All right. Best painter / multimedia artist interior art went to Anand RK, John Pearson for Blue and Green, which is a Rambi book.
Wait.
He's got it.
I do got it.
There it is.
And of course, the green is getting affected by the green screen.
Hell yeah.
Best cover artist went to Peach Momoko.
Yes.
For her covers for Buffy the Vampire Slayer 19, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 2, Something is Killing the Children 12, and Power Rangers 1.
Nice.
God, Peach Momoko is such a rare and beautiful talent in comics right now. She's doing the Demon Days books. Those have like X-Men, Black Widow, stuff like that. Just such a unique art style that like Marvel just has never really had before. Like it's such a unique thing that's like it's so lovely. Check the work out.
I really love her covers. I have her cover for Alien #1, which is gorgeous. And of course, the Demon Days stuff is great. I'm so glad she's doing interior arts, like things in Demon Days, and I hope she gets more interior stuff.
I agree.
Best coloring went to Laura Allred, sister or wife of Michael Allred.
Wife
of Michael Allred, for X-Ray Robot, Bowie, Stardust, Ray Guns, and Moon Age Daydreams. This
alien cover is pretty cool,
isn't it?
See that one? Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah. Best lettering went to Stan Sakai for Usagi Yojimbo. Mm-hmm. Best comic-related journalism periodical went to Women
Write About Comics.
Women Write About Comics, edited by Nola Thau and Wendy Brown.
Hell yeah! So, WWAC is run by a bunch of really, really awesome people. They are very man, they're just so good. And like they write they are who I go to when I know I'm being a straight white guy. Like for real. Like when I'm like my perspective is wrong, I need to know I'm thinking about things in a different way. They're who I go to. I think they're great. And it's great because there's a lot of like trans people in that community, and like it's just really cool that they're getting the exposure. It's really great.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah. Best comic related book went to Invisible Men, the trailblazing black artist of comic books by Ken Quattro. Best academic scholarly work went to Invisible Men, the trailblazing black artist of comic books by Ken Quattro. Best publication design went to The Loneliness of the Long Distance Cartoonist by Adrian Tomain. Nice. Best digital comic went to Friday by Ed Brubaker and Marcos Martin.
Nice.
And best web comic went to Crisis Zone by Simon Hanselman.
Ooh, web comic. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, and that's all. That's the winners for this year's Eisner Awards.
Nice. Good stuff. Love the check-in. I'm just so thrilled because so many people hate on the Jimmy Olsen book without reading it because it's a Jimmy Olsen book. Like immediately when you think like, oh, Jimmy Olsen, whatever. But like, again, truly the funniest comic I've maybe ever read in my life. So like, I'm just so glad it's getting praise. Like, man, those hardcovers are selling out. It's a 12-issue maxi, so I don't know if there's like a small flimsy one. You might have to just get the 12 one, but good stuff. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to do that. I always felt bad we never got to talk about the Eisners. I always forgot, but I remember this year.
It's all right. We're here now.
So Comic-Con is happening. That's because the Eisners happen, so you should know. A lot of the big guns, they take out. They don't go to the digital Comic-Con. So there's not a lot in it. Some of the panels are online. You can watch them. They're interesting. So we're only going to talk about a couple of things from today, which is Saturday, and yesterday, which was Friday. If anything drops on Sunday, we will discuss it the week after. So let's start with Star Trek. Had a panel. It was the first panel on Friday. Star Trek Animation showed the trailer, the full-length trailer to Lower Decks Season 2, and the first teaser for Prodigy, the Nickelodeon show.
Prodigy looks interesting.
It does.
I'm not sure how I feel about it.
I really like the animation.
Yeah. It just doesn't. It gives me, and I promise this isn't in a negative way, but like it gives me like Jurassic Park Camp Cretaceous vibes, where it's like young kids dealing with Star Trek stuff, and I'm like, I don't know if I need that. But it's one of those things where like kids finding a starship. Like I guess it is a kids show, right? So like it's not for me. It's not for me. So like that's fine. Look, the animation is cool though. Like I love when they do new alien species, because I'm like, branch that world out there.
I also think it's really cool that they have a cast that's entirely alien. I thought that was a cool touch.
Yeah.
But the Lower Decks Season 2 trailer is the highlight. The panel was great. I highly recommend watching the panel if you like Lower Decks at all. It was a lot of fun. But the trailer looks awesome. Season 2, I cannot wait.
I love the ending bit between Mariner and her mom, where she's like, "You have a team ready to take me to the brig, don't you?" She's like, "You know me so well." She's like, "Love you, Mom. I love you too. But listen to what I say. I do what I want."
Yeah, that was cute. But I laughed really hard in the bit where they're like, "Look at this space. We have all this space," and then the Cerritos leaves, and they're like, "They left us."
And like, how much do we have of oxygen? A little, a lot.
I definitely chuckled a bunch during this trailer. Of all the Star Trek shows, like this will be the one that I watch probably.
This is definitely the one I'm watching. I watched the first season of Lower Decks. I absolutely loved it. My whole house watched it. Fanny, my girlfriend, my roommate Kai. He watched it because he was also watching all the other Star Trek shows because he really enjoys Star Trek. But Lower Decks was like the one all three of us just like connected with and loved. So what's
Lower Decks is one that I think Ryan would really like.
Oh yeah. Oh, Ryan would love Lower Decks.
There was a lot in this trailer that if you're a hardcore Star Trek fan, there is forgive me, I take away my Star Trek card if you want, but I don't remember the names of the species that Picard encounters that talks all in metaphor.
The Chiss.
It's not the Chiss. That's their new security chief after losing their last security chief. There's a lot of Cardassians. There's Ferengi. There's Borg. There is Jeffrey Combs showing up in this Star Trek show as a alien computer, which is great because Jeffrey Combs has been on all of the modern Star Trek shows. Sorry, not the modern ones, but the DS9, Voyager, and Enterprise. Those modern ones.
Yeah.
Captain. You get Jack Ryder for a hot second.
Oh, Ben.
Wait, no.
Will Riker.
Will Riker. Damn it.
Yeah. Will Riker as captain of the Titan.
Yeah, you get Will Riker, but you also get a Q popping in every once in a while. And then I just love with Mariner and all the crew Lower Decks is like, no, F you.
Well, that was last season. The other thing in this episode is it also revealed that Robert Duncan McNeil, who plays Tom Paris on Star Trek Voyager, will reprise his role, but as a Tom Paris commemorative Star Trek Voyager plate.
That's incredible. That's like Futurama.
That they are selling. They're making it and selling it in real life.
That's really funny.
Yeah. I'm really excited for this show, for this next season. Cookie from Just a Little Podcast and I are talking about doing a Fake Nerds Watch series for Star Trek Lower Decks.
Woo!
Refresh memory, but Lower Decks or Paramount Plus, they do all their stuff week by week, right? It's not
it's all weekly.
Okay.
Mag pops up a really fun nerd Star Trek question. Still don't know what happened to Riker's twin. Riker doesn't have a Y, it's an I. Yes, Thomas Riker has disappeared since he joined the Maquis in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So who knows where he'll show up next.
Picard season 2.
Jesus, an old Tom Riker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like Star Trek, guys. I'm glad there's so much Star Trek content. I just wish I felt better about most of it.
Yeah.
But I'm watching it all. It's not. I don't think any of it's bad per se.
I remember there was a point where you weren't watching any of it, so I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, and you were instrumental in that because you gave me the Star Trek Discovery Season 1 DVD.
That's true. I
You were
remember
spending $5 a month for CBS All Access, and you didn't even watch it.
I know. That's stupid. But now I like Discovery. Oded Fair is so great in that role. All right. We talked about last week, but Blade Runner Black Lotus is coming, and we got our first trailer.
Yeah, we did.
Ryan, you love Blade Runner, though.
I do love Blade Runner.
Do you not like this?
Well, no, thank you, Sparks, who might be joining us right now. Ben, let me tell you, I love Blade Runner, and I love anime. But I just don't know if this is what I wanted when I thought of Blade Runner anime.
You're thinking like a more traditional 2D style, gritty.
I was
anime,
thinking more style instead of it just kind of looking like, oh, it's this is what Blade Runner kind of looks like, right?
Oh, look who it
Sparks
is.
Whitty in the house.
Sparks is here. I gotta hold on.
The wrong way.
There we go. Here, I'm gonna go this way. There we go.
I
I wasn't expecting him. The camera's not prepared.
What I did this week was
I wasn't crazy about the animation.
Yeah, it's the animation that it's. I need to know more. I like the quote. It's like it's not murder. It's a retirement. I do like that. I don't know if I could watch like 15 hours of that. I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah,
I just don't know.
It looks kind of, the animation looked kind of meh.
Yeah.
If the story's got to be there. Like I will give it. I want to give everything Blade Runner a chance because there's not that much of it, right? So like,
I was
it
hoping
it didn't immediately grab me.
I was hoping we get something like that anime short for Blade Runner 2049.
100%. Yeah, Blackout. That's exactly what I was thinking we were gonna get. And it didn't. Blade Runner is very, again, it oozes tone and style, and like Blade Runner is very dark, and like this trailer didn't look like that. It was very like, it just kind of looked like, it's like Cyberpunk City. It didn't seem Blade Runner to me.
I didn't get the style of Blade Runner in this. I felt like it was like the cheap version of Blade Runner, even though it's an animated format, so it's more expensive.
Yeah. I'll maybe a second trailer will win me over better. Who knows?
Yeah. All right, guys. We were waiting for this. We knew it was coming. The Dragon Ball Super movie is coming next year. We now know what it is called. It is called Dragon Ball Super: Superhero.
Baby. So people, well, you're here. So say some words. Say some words about it. Even though we don't know anything, but like,
I know. I think it's really interesting that they specified that. One of them specified in the panel that like it's important that it's Dragon Ball superhero. So there's not really like in their mind there's not a colon. This is a superhero.
Yeah.
So immediately, where does your mind go to?
Great Saiyaman.
The Great Saiyaman. And I'm a Saiyaman defender.
I'll just say like we saw a character design for Pan. So this is interesting. We saw a character design for Pan. So there's at least a small time jump. From Broly.
Yeah.
Because Pan was toddler-esque and now she's closer to like Gohan at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z.
So like a couple years, yeah.
Which implies that this is maybe a destination as far as like compared to where the manga's at right now. Which is good shit, by the way. There was a new chapter this week. It's maybe like further down the road that they're going to rather than like a lot of people were suspecting, myself included, that, the end of the current arc we're in the manga is going to spill right into the next movie. That may not be so true anymore.
So like they're going to tell like a future story. We're like, like we'll get there eventually. We just want to tell a story.
Yeah. Very, very possible. I think it's very Toriyama to be like, I care very much about the specific details of things. And I liked that everything can be canon, and also I give no shits about canon, because very much how he went, Trunks' hair used to be purple, now it's blue. He's like, Piccolo's arms are yellow in this one because that's how they looked in the original manga.
Oh my god! So so I watched the panel as well. This was one of the few panels I watched. Real quickly, they did start with the theme song to Dragon Ball Z. That was awesome. I really enjoyed that live performance of that. And then they were like, you have some designs for some characters in this, right? And it's like, yeah, here's Piccolo. As you can see, we've changed some things about Piccolo. And I'm like, you did, huh? What?
Yellow.
And like they were like, yeah, his upper arms are yellow instead of pink, and his sash is red instead of blue. And I'm like, okay, cool.
I'm with you.
And then they were like, here's Krillin. And you can see we've changed Krillin as well. I'm like, did you now? And they're like, yeah, his eyes are now white instead of flesh colored. And I'm like, I guess that is weird that they've been flesh colored until this point.
It is weird. Yeah. I will admit the Krillin one has really been like a thorn in the side of a lot of people for the anime, because any color cover or anything of the manga always had Krillin's eyes as white. They just weren't finished lines.
Yeah.
But because they weren't finished lines, the anime style choice was to make them clear, like flesh color, and then that just stayed forever.
Yeah.
And Toriyama at this point in the series decided, I can change that. I'm gonna change that. And that's how he feels about it, and that's fine. I think it's extremely funny how he'll do things like that, where he's like, Piccolo's arms are just yellow now. I don't give a shit.
What are you guys gonna do about it? You can't.
We also got a first look image at Piccolo's house.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, Piccolo has a house.
Is it like
we're gonna see it?
Is it a regular house?
I suspect. Again, I think this is going to have a lot of Gohan, Piccolo, Pan, Videl focus.
I think a lot of people are speculating because Gohan kind of got short shafted in Super. They're like, this is going to be like the makeup. It's going to be his movie, like him being like great.
I think this is supposed to pick up the thread that Toriyama was building in the Universal Tournament arc at the end of Super. For anyone who doesn't know, Gohan was very much like, he has this moment where he tells Goku, like, I'm going to get stronger, but I'm going to do it my own way. I'm not going to do it your way.
Yeah.
And he's kind of on his own path to like actually want to progress himself. And I do wonder, we don't know, but I do wonder how much Gohan is at the center of this one. It would make some amount of sense. We did see a design for a brand new character who's not probably the villain for this, but we'll see.
We also got a first look at the animation style. They are changing it to a 3D animation style.
It's like a 2D on a 3D. Okay. It actually looks pretty cool. It's almost like the good concept of what you'd think of like a video game in motion.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not you don't have to watch the whole panel. Watch this like snippet of animation. It's just they did a very brief thing when they announced the title, which is that they just show Goku literally just in motion. It's just a brief little thing. It is just like, it feels like Broly touched up in a way with like a little bit of 3D animation on top. I still think that they're bringing like their A game in animation. I'm not concerned. I think this is going to be, I'm excited. They said Toriyama is the most invested he's ever been in any of the movies with this story. So,
and they're talking about like in their mind, this is better than Broly. And I'm like, that's a high bar, guys.
That's a very high bar. Mag is saying, at least Piccolo has a house over, meditating, living on top of a mountain.
And so he is still living on top of a mountain. This is literally, his house is near the waterfall. He meditates on top of a mountain at all the time.
Oh, that's great.
The only thing that gets me about this is that I'm surprised, because I thought Piccolo just basically lived at the lookout forever after he fused with Kami. I thought that was just the way things were. So? And I guess that's not the case, because maybe Pan couldn't visit it enough.
Yeah. Either way, look, a new Dragon Ball Super, anything is exciting. I'm glad we finally got something out of this. And they're talking about it being more superhero, kind of like Toriyama's like true take on the superhero story.
Hell yeah.
I am not going to talk about my whole week because I wasn't here, but I am going to talk real quick about the Dragon Ball Super chapter, because I was going to do that anyway, and this is perfect. And all I'm going to say is real quick, this month's chapter, has the most Vegeta going Super Saiyan for the first time energy that Vegeta's had since.
Nice.
It's good. There's this whole bit where Vegeta points out like, wow, this is really great, as he's fighting this character, and the guy's like, what? And he's like, I just, I haven't fought for any, I haven't just fought for fighting's sake in so long. There's always been a planet or a family member or something at stake. And right now, I'm just fighting for no reason. And I love it. And I'm like, oh,
there's Vegeta.
This is like Vegeta, not loving being evil, but loving fighting.
Yeah.
And fighting for fighting's sake. And he's like, this is why I'm a better fighter than Kakarot, which he pointed out. And I'm like, this is the good Vegeta shit happening right now.
I'm excited to finally see that animated someday.
Yeah, man. It's good. It's good stuff. I do like what they're doing with Vegeta in the story right now.
Good.
There was also an Adventure Time panel that dropped today. They showed, or it dropped yesterday. Oh yeah, most of the stuff is yesterday. There was an Adventure Time Distant Lands panel that they did. This was them talking about what they've done with Distant Lands so far, which was the three specials, and they premiered the key art and told us a little bit about what the next special is, which is called Wizard City.
Wizard.
Sparks and I assumed, because it being based on Peppermint Butler, that it would be set after the show, but actually it's set before the show, and it's a young Peppermint Butler, just called Pep.
Oh, little Pep. Pep in the step.
I won't say I assumed it would be set after the show. I did think there would be a both, a back and forth. Peppermint Butler now, Peppermint Butler before, Peppermint Butler now. I thought we'd kind of be jumping around with him.
Mm-hmm.
Peppermint Butler, Adventure Time's Doctor Strange.
This is going to be him at Wizard School, essentially, in Wizard City.
Wizards.
Yeah, look, more Adventure Time. I can't wait. They did talk a bit about there's no current plans for more Distant Lands, but they're like, yeah, we can come back whenever we want, do whatever story, and it was a good panel.
It makes sense. It's a format that allows them to just, I had this idea, great, go do it.
Yeah, and the voice cast is great. Bex Taylor Klaus from many things, but Voltron. They are one of the main characters in this.
Hellfest.
I won't spoil anything about the previous Distant Lands that just came out last month, but it's weird that that's not the one they went out on.
Yeah,
I'm sure this Peppermint Butler one will be strong, but it does feel like, and originally it was supposed to be Finn and Jake's one was supposed to be the last one.
Yeah, they did talk about that. Apparently, there was only going to be 3 at first, and then they got a 4th one that became Wizard City.
It's weird. It's just that I think about it and I'm like, that's. I kind of hope there are more Distant Lands because it just feels odd to have this but what it's like a quotation mark after the period of your sentence.
Yeah,
and it's oh wait, what?
But actually,
you watched together again. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we talked about it.
But did we? I forgot.
Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about it again on Animation Station.
That's true. If you guys recall, there was a Netflix announced that they're working on an animated adaptation of Usagi Yojimbo. They, which just won some Eisners we talked about. They released a panel that showed us some information. Slightly first look, there's 10 seconds of footage that I didn't think you guys needed to go and search for. You can find it online, some of the pictures, but it's going to be called Samurai Rabbit, the Usagi Chronicles. And will actually take place 1,000 years in the future and be about Yuichi Usagi, who is a descendant of the Usagi from the main book.
Huh. That's a wild premise.
I'm frankly stunned it's taken this long to make a direct animation adaptation.
Yeah.
Mag's excited.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I did see on Twitter. I saw the animation. I'm like, oh, it looks cute.
This is a popular series that has been referenced in several other animated projects, but never actually
animated,
directly tackled in the same way.
And as a character has crossovered with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in every single one of their shows.
Hell yeah.
So the quick thing about it is Yuichi dreams of becoming a great swordsman like his ancestor, but his brash and impulsive actions cause him to accidentally release a wave of yokai onto the city of Neo-Edo. Yuichi assembles an unlikely team to clean up his mess and protect the city.
Nice.
So it's kind of like Japanese Ghostbusters.
Kind of, yeah.
Actually, yeah.
I'm for
With
it.
a sword.
With swords, which just
I
tick
ain't afraid.
another box of stuff I like. All right.
I ain't afraid
Ben,
of no sword.
easy to please. Just
All
put
right.
sword in our hands.
That.
Well, that's
You
not
should
true. I
go
watched
on.
the movie.
What did he say?
He said, like, put a sword in his hand and it'll be pleased. And I was like, I don't know. I watched the movie today.
All right, but that's all for Comic-Con. If anything happens in the next the next day, we're recording this on Saturday. If anything happens on Sunday, we'll talk about that the next coming week. But it's probably unlikely. Most of the big stuff just decided to skip this year.
Yeah, it's been a light Comic-Con.
Yeah. So we're in trailers then.
Talk.
We're in the trailer park.
They announced that Dead Space is getting a remake.
Yeah, so this was leaked like a year ago. But that's video games for you. I love Dead Space. You've played Dead Space for 1 hour. Imagine that, but it looks really good.
I mean, let's do it.
All right.
That's a basement arcade.
Yeah.
I think this time we make Ben do it though.
Oh my god, dude! That if they're just remaking Dead Space 1, which is one of the scariest games ever made, it's just gonna be like now the newest scariest game ever made, and looks really good, look really pretty. So I'm like, hell yeah!
Do you think this is? I don't know. I didn't look at the details enough. Is this like just? Oh, we're just like upscaling it.
No, it's a from the ground.
So it's like Resident Evil 2.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Shadow of the Colossus. Yeah.
All right.
It is a remake. Oh yeah.
All right then.
Do you know what studio?
It's Motive who has worked on like Battlefields and other stuff. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Since we're on a game thing real quick, I'm just gonna real quick, Brandon. We don't need to talk about it a bunch because I know Ryan and I are probably the only people who super dove into it at all this week. But if you got a chance, listeners, you should go check out all the information about the lawsuit happening against Activision and Blizzard because it's some real gross stuff that came out after the 2-year investigation, and it's well worth reading. Specifically, there's a whole thing that came out about cube crawls, which holy shit. Please look into that. Please, you know.
Do I want to know? Do I want to know what a cube crawl is?
It's just it's a gross thing that.
Okay, so it's so literally like guys in the office
in Blizzard's
environment,
office,
they would get drunk, they would go to cubicles and sexually harass and assault women.
Mm.
I guess not assault, like it would all be harassment, but it's like, wow.
But drunkenly going to a work cubicle and just messing with them. Yeah. Yeah.
Then it was like a practice that they called cube crawl.
Yeah. Yeah. There's tons and tons of articles. You can read tons of podcasts about it. It's truly disgusting, and it's unfortunately like this happened recently with Riot. This has happened before, like with Naughty Dog. Like it's just like frat house behavior in the video game industry.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem, and it's always been a problem. Very much like Hollywood. Like it's always a boys' club. It's always a boys' club in every entertainment industry, and it's just like it's
but
bullshit.
Video games has like been able to sidestep a lot of like real
talk about it
consequence.
Yeah,
because even the stuff that has come out is usually coming out through like media reports, and then like everybody's pissed, but like no actual real consequence comes from it
because people don't take video games seriously.
So no measures are really taken into place.
Yeah.
But what's nice is like Ryan referenced Riot, same department in California that pursued Riot on that. Yeah. They launched this investigation that ran for 2 years, and they're now bringing this lawsuit against them.
It's a state lawsuit.
So this is actually something that's actionably happening, and hopefully like more of this is to come. So just good to be aware, good to put the voices out there, like, you know, support the victims of this and know what's going on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And this is definitely a thing, like people make a lot of good points. Like this doesn't mean like don't support the studio, don't support there are the women that work there and all these other people who are the victims that work there. Like you can't just like say, well, I'm not going to buy their games or that kind of thing. And that's not creating actionable change in that work environment. This is the kind of stuff we need to raise awareness about these things, like the lawsuit that's happening.
Right.
That's it.
Get the bomb.
On that segue, Heels. The new trailer for Stephen Amell's Heels.
Oh, brother, let's talk about wrestling. Excuse me. I thought this was charming.
Oh, it looks all right. I don't think I'm going to watch it, though.
No. As someone who knows like a lot, like I haven't watched wrestling in a while, but like I was ingrained in wrestling for many years. So like everything they're talking about, like I get like being the heel and like all this stuff. So like it's very true to wrestling. Like it's Stephen Amell obviously loves wrestling. Like he's been part of the WWE and stuff. Like this definitely seems like a passion project, but I agree, Brandon. I probably won't watch this.
It just kind of
But
looks fun.
but it looks like his heart's behind it. It's just not something I did necessarily want to watch.
Yeah, I did think the end was funny with the girl.
Sorry, say again.
I did think the end was funny with the girl.
Oh yeah.
Remind me.
The girl like does the like knocks over the dude with her legs.
That's right.
I don't know how to describe that move.
It's the black widow thing.
All right. Vacation Friends.
John Cena.
Oh, okay.
This looks awesome. I'm so scared it's gonna be bad.
This looks really funny.
Sorry, go ahead. Didn't everyone like that John Cena comedy Cockblockers?
Blockers is great.
Yeah.
Blockers is great.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's great.
I haven't seen Blockers.
There's a line in this where John Cena hands him like the devil's dick, which is a mushroom, a really bad mushroom to consume, and then his friend like eats it, and he's like, "Everything you touch turns to drugs." I just think it's a great line.
The premise of this is this couple they're getting married. And then out of nowhere, John Cena and his wife come, and they're like crazy people, and they're like, "Oh, we come to your wedding. Thanks for inviting us to your wedding." And they're like, "We don't know who you are." And they're like, "No, we partied in Mexico or something." And then it's like a flashback of them having like a hangover style event with them, and then it's just a whole cavalcade of John Cena being crazy. That's all I need.
Guys,
That's all I need.
If John Cena is just going to be like the off the wire comedic wrestler actor now, I'm here for it. Like that's
if he's gonna
peacemaker the future of his career.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
Go ahead.
Just when he gives the margaritas to
this doesn't taste like salt. It's cocaine.
It's cocaine. They're like,
yeah. And she's like, "It's surprisingly really easy. You just put it in a thing."
I gotta watch this trailer.
It's one of those where like it might be bad, but the trailer's really good.
Sure.
Yeah.
Shit.
I mean, I also like when the dad shows up. Like, there's a scene with like the groom's dad, and he's like, "This is a private." He's like, "Oh, we know the bride and groom." He's like, "Do you?" And then like 2 minutes later, it's just like, "Why is he charming your dad?" And it's like the dad's like, "Oh, this guy! Look at this guy!"
No, he says the dad's like, "Are you okay with a foursome going to golf?" And John Cena is like, "Sure, as long as there's one woman involved."
Yeah, that cracked me up. Yeah. John Cena, he's great.
Okay,
I'm excited for this one.
Cool.
Yeah, this looks really funny. Did you guys hear what Dave Bautista said when asked if he would do a movie with The Rock and John Cena?
He said no.
He said, "I'm good."
Yeah. Hey man,
that was funny.
He'll be in a movie with them one day out of context of superhero stuff. You'll see.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it'll happen. But yeah, this movie looks very funny. Yeah. All right, The Last Duel.
Yo,
I'm so glad that you made them watch.
Yeah, yo, man. So this is based off a true story about the actual last duel in France. This is a Ridley Scott joint. This looks super epic, but also small and personal. Matt Damon looks great with a weird like prosthetic beard thing.
Guys, this is Jodie Comer. Jodie Comer is from Killing Eve, and she's the girl who I'm like, man, it's really a bummer that she's the lead in Free Guy, which might not be good. Not going to launch her career into stardom.
Right. Yeah.
But
yeah.
This one does.
So The Last Duel.
Ben Affleck in a blonde wig.
Ben Affleck in a blonde wig. Man,
this
looks like
yes.
This yeah.
It took me a while to recognize Matt Damon for a hot second, but I mean, Adam Driver is Adam Driver. That's like, okay, that's Adam Driver.
So Matt Damon has a wife in this movie, and then Adam Driver sexually assaults his wife, and then Matt Damon's like, "I need to kill this man. And then so he goes out of his way to make it like, I'm going to duel this man for your honor. Then it turns into this huge drama thing of like, are you really doing it even for me, or are you doing it for yourself?
Right. You're doing it for your pride, not for me. And her life is on the line.
Yeah.
Because if he loses, then they kill her.
It's real.
I really like that the trailer makes it seem like she is the focal point character.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm stoked for that. She's fantastic. And I love the idea of that. That's awesome.
I cannot wait. I really want to see this movie. This and Green Knight, I'm really looking forward to when they come out in theaters.
Green Knight is out, I think, now.
Next week.
Oh, okay.
Green Knight is out in, I think, a different country, but not here.
Oh my God, Green Knight.
The Witcher, Nightmare of the Wolf had a second full-length trailer.
I'm so ready for this.
Is this? I'm so confused by is this the Castlevania guys or not?
No, this is Studio Mir, who did Legend of Korra and Voltron.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, this looks good. It still looks good. Yeah, it's about Vesemir, who is Geralt's mentor. So it's like long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
We're also going to see Vesemir in Witcher Season 2.
Oh, he's going to be an old man. Ooh, yeah. I wonder if they're using the same actor for his voice.
I don't know. I was thinking that too.
I
wonder if it's a good question.
You know, I feel like it's safe to say yes, because I mean they're both Netflix joints, and it's kind of silly. And if you think about it, it's kind of silly. It's like, hey, we have this good voice actor, let's have him be the same dude, or vice versa. It's like, hey, here's this guy, let him voice this animated show that we're doing, or this animated movie.
I really like The Witcher. I thought that first season was awesome. So I'm really excited for this. I love Studio Mir, so this is kind of a win-win for me.
Word. I agree.
Wait,
all right.
Which Studio Mir was Avatar, right?
The Legend of Korra specifically is what these guys did, right. But also most of these guys did work on Avatar: The Last Airbender, and Castlevania's Powerhouse Studios,
gotcha.
who just recently did He-Man,
which is getting rave reviews.
Yes,
unless you're
a big white baby.
And they also did that Blood of Zeus animated show. Studio Mir, however, also did Dota: Dragon's Blood this past year.
That's the other one. Jesus, my freaking! Every time I look at my Netflix watch list after Demon Slayer, it's like, oh shit, I need to watch Dota. Oh shit, I need to watch Voltron. Oh shit, I need to watch more things.
I think you'd like Dota. I think you'd like Dota.
I really need to watch Dota.
It's right up. I think it's right up your alley.
Okay.
Anyway, exciting. Should we move on to the next thing?
Do it.
Malignant.
Spooky. I watched this one. He's gonna go get something. This looks horrifying. James Wan is back.
My man, when that thing from the creator of Saw, Insidious, The Conjuring, I was like, man, yeah, strength after strength after strength. He has made 3 defining horror films in a decade.
And then Aquaman.
Which rules.
Yeah.
And now a fourth one. Like Malignant looks just as good.
So yeah, this lady is having visions of people dying. But like it's like I'm still wrapping my head around like the actual premise.
It looks like she's being teleported there.
Yes. I'm not sure what's happening, but whatever is happening, it's freaking scary. Yeah. Like there's some like horrible imagery in this. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so ready to be freaked out by this. Like it looks just like gross. It looks like gross.
Yeah, the bad guy, the villain bad guy, Gabriel, looks. It's another really cool design because it's simple, but it looks kind of like. But it's wearing all black and he's always in shadows, so it looks like there's no it's just a silhouette.
Yeah.
But it making it, and so paring down kind of that look, making it more simple than what we see in like The Conjuring or Insidious is really smart because we can put our imagination onto what this thing could look like.
Yeah, he's like utilizing like a different aspect of like horror than like this traditional like Conjuring or something. Yeah,
I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
Jackass. You should be. Jackass Forever.
Oh my gosh! I saw this trailer in the movie with Ryan, and I'm like, man,
I've never been interested in Jackass. Not really. This looked really good.
I saw the second movie in theaters and I loved it. I thought it was some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah, Jackass has been a part of my life for so long. Like I watched it with my parents. Jackass was the first soundtrack. Jackass the movie was the first soundtrack I ever went and bought because it had "Baby Got Back" by Sir Mix-a-Lot on it, and I needed that song. I only bought the CD for one song, but I bought it. Thanks, Mom. Thank you.
You're not the only one who bought CDs for one song, Ryan. I did the exact same thing when I was a kid.
But like Jackass the TV show, and then the 3 movies, and like in Wild Boys and all their other shows, like those guys are so fun. But now like it's really, again, this is something I always talk about, time. Like this is only something time can give us. Like 30 years after these guys' careers, they're all old and they're all having kids, and like this is their final hurrah. And like let's hope none of them die or break any bones. It looks like a good time.
I love how Steve-O says you can keep having concussions up until you're 50. Then
you're 49. You're 50. Yeah.
Knoxville's 49, so he's safe because the second you pass 50, you get a concussion, then that's good. That's real bad news.
I think the thing that works best for me in the entire trailer is the final thing. He's like, Steve-O, at least you still got your perfect set of teeth. And he pulls out his fake teeth. And I'm like, oh my, that's so brilliant. Oh my God, it's so funny.
It really sold me on like, we're just good friends getting beat up by things.
Yep.
I'm like, that's, you know what, I'm into that. I think that looks like a lot of fun. That kind of like coming back last hurrah. The thing that got me was the bit of the honey meat, and then just the bear shows up and his face just
like
that stoic face.
Yeah, that guy Aaron, he gets bullied the most, but like he deals with it because he's famous and stuff. Like I thought they were done. Like after 3, they were like done, and then I think just one more time for the fans.
Dude,
well, after 3, when what's his name passed away, right?
Yeah, Ryan Dunn.
Yeah.
Dune.
Did you watch this trailer?
No,
That's okay. Boys,
I didn't do my homework.
So, boys, Ryan, before you start, boys, I really need to start reading that book.
Yes, you do.
3 months. Listen, 25 pages a day. Like, it's easy. It's easy.
Well,
You'll be done. You'll be done.
Well, I'm pretty sure, knowing me and how I can binge books sometimes, I could probably finish it in 2 weekends.
You are not prepared for Dune, my friend. Don't give yourself 2 weekends. Give yourself some time.
It's really dense.
I'm not gonna give myself 2 weekends. I'm not gonna force binge myself. I want to enjoy it. So if I happen to binge it, then good.
So
I'm still not done with the book. I haven't read it in a couple of days. I have not met Zendaya's character yet.
Yeah,
and I'm very far in the book.
Oh yeah, Ryan, you tweeted about that. What did you mean by that? About how Zendaya is and someone else? It was the poster.
Zendaya is Michi.
Zendaya is Michi.
Yeah.
Zendaya is Michi.
Ben,
That's not a Dune thing.
That's
not a
meme
Dune
video.
thing. That's a meme. That's a Vine. That's a meme.
Ben, do you remember Smallfoot?
I never saw Smallfoot.
I know, but do you
explain it to him?
Oh my
God! Watch the video later.
Oh, it makes me so happy you didn't get that.
look up Smallfoot Zendaya as Michi?
So it's interesting, Brandon. Yes, this movie they filmed very much like it. They filmed the one full movie, but it is very much a one of 2 parts. So like this movie, but you can't film Dune in one movie. That's the thing. You can't do it.
But you can film both movies back to back.
The studio wouldn't let them. It's too expensive.
No, I'm saying it's so stupid that the studio wouldn't let them do that.
If
this was 20 years ago, Warner Brothers.
Also a very different situation.
It was a different Warner Brothers back then. If this was 20 years ago, Warner Brothers absolutely would have let them film 2 movies at one time. But now Warner's is too scared.
Dune costs way more than Lord of the Rings would have costed. Anyway, this trailer is obviously phenomenal. Like, I don't know, I have nothing bad to say about it. Like, I cannot believe, like, I'm a Denis Villeneuve, like, super fanboy. Like, that dude's made nothing but great movies. But, like, the scale and just, like, the visuals of decades of people's imaginations being brought to life. Sorry, Dune from 1984. Sorry, David Lynch. But, like, it's just, I'm so happy. It's just so... It looks like a blockbuster. It looks like a movie. You're like, holy shit, this is why I go to the movies. Like, you know, this is the reason I spend $15 to go to the movies. This is it.
I think if given the chance, Denis Villeneuve absolutely would have filmed both movies at one time. But he just couldn't, and it sucks. Yeah. But I really think we get a lot of cool character moments in this in this trailer. We get more about the characters' personalities, and I think it's been touched up and kind of modernized a bit, but they still come off as the characters in the book. There's not been a whole lot of changes. Like, nobody's acting out of character. They're just kind of sniping at each other a bit more.
Yeah, there's definitely, like, the Duncan Idaho, like, oh, you've gained weight or whatever. Like, yeah, well, that's just chummy fun dialogue. Yeah,
but it feels in line with that character from the book. It doesn't feel like they've changed the characters in a significant way.
Yeah. Again, man, like, this is a franchise that is just on such a wide scale. Like, you know, it is a Star Wars in terms of scope. And, like, you have this one planet, Arrakis, and it's the one place you can find spice. So the entire universe is always fighting over it. And, like, we're at this pivotal point in history where, like, these 2 warring factions, it's Game of Thrones in space, you know, if we want to be reductive. It just looks really good. I don't know what else to say. It just looks like, holy shit, this is a movie. Wow.
Yeah.
Like, the fight scene at the end with all the dudes fighting in the desert with the sandworms around them. I'm like, are you kidding me? Give me a break. This is yum 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 yum. Makes me happy.
I'm very excited for this. We will be doing a book club tie-in for that book.
Couple other special
other friends
Fake Nerd Book Club
want to be a part of that too because I like that.
Ooh.
Get on it, Ben. All right, shall we do our main topic?
For House Atreides. Did you see the?
Or don't.
Yeah.
The thing started, and Ryan said, "Did you see the movie?" And I just saw sparks. No.
Yeah, sell me on this movie, guys.
Maybe it won't be that.
Full spoilers for Snake Man.
I truly go off. I don't care.
Full spoilers for Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins, the newest G.I. Joe film, Henry Golding's. So full spoilers. If you don't want to know anything about this movie, skip ahead. Don't watch this. Whatever you do. Full spoilers. You have been warned. All right, so let's get right into it. They filmed this on the set from Rurouni Kenshin live-action movies, and that was weird for me. Because I'm like, I saw that bridge in feudal Japan just a couple weeks ago.
I recognize it.
Kind of did look like a bridge from feudal Japan too. I'm like that.
I'm sure it's a set. I'm sure it's a set that Japan has that doubles as feudal Japan a lot.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay, so what do we think about this one? Why don't Ben, you go first? Okay, Ryan, why don't you go first?
What's the worst movie we've seen this year so far?
Ooh, good question.
Oh man,
I know we reviewed a movie.
There just haven't been a lot of movies.
I know, but I think we reviewed one like in the last couple months that like we all thought was pretty bad. I just don't remember what it was.
Shoot,
I do.
Ooh.
Oh, Wonder Woman 84.
Whatever it is, I actively don't like this movie. It's the thing that I fear most in movies, that it's so mediocre that it's worse than bad. Because if it was really bad, I'd have something to latch onto. This is like 2 hours, so it's too long. It's 2 hours of just things happening. It is an entire movie of that happened, let's move on. I didn't care about a single goddamn character. I thought Henry Golding is handsome, and that's it. That's the movie. I wish I didn't spend $12 on it.
Oh, jeez. Did you actually have thoughts, Ben, or was
no? I thought you were. I didn't hear you say my name. I thought you were actually going to Ryan first.
I'm not on a new level.
Yeah. So, I was playing a mental drinking game with myself when I was watching this movie. Is how many times take a drink whenever whenever Henry Golding's English accent slips, because it is obvious.
Oh man, I leaned over to Ben. It's one of the worst. It's one of the worst in Hollywood recently, man.
Real quick, honestly, I've scanned through all our movie reviews for this year. We've had some real bangers. The only one I can think of that we were all kind of like, yeah, in any other franchise, this would be god awful. Is Conjuring 3.
Oh, okay. Dang, I guess there wasn't a super bad one. That's a shame.
Do you want to count last year, Wonder Woman 84? We weren't.
I mean, yeah.
No, I'm talking this year.
No.
I think the most recent, like, ooh, what a stinker was probably Wonder Woman 84.
You know what? Yeah. As I was watching this movie, okay, so this is gonna be a thought. When I was watching this movie, I thought, this is just boring. At least if we reviewed Space Jam, it would have been fun to bash it. This one is just.
I kind of wish
it wouldn't have been fun. I'll tell you that. I can't say, like, maybe it's a more enjoyable experience. I didn't see Snake Eyes, so I am sure there is more to enjoy from Space Jam: A New Legacy. I will say, like, flat out, like, visually, the animation in Space Jam: A New Legacy is gorgeous.
So this is going to quickly turn into a Space Jam review real quick, because I didn't watch it, but I did watch two video reviews about it, and I didn't realize that like the first part of that movie, it's all animated, and it's like they're going to the Justice League world, and I'm like, oh, this looks great actually.
Yeah.
So I kind of regret it.
I will tell you, you're not there long enough, and the content is not necessarily worth the pretty packaging, but the packaging is extremely pretty.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what this movie has.
Yeah. I think that's my thoughts on, or my original thoughts.
I think. Okay.
Come on, do it. Come on. Say it. Just say it.
Your mileage will vary on G.I. Joe Retaliation. But I think that this film might be it might be one of the best G.I. Joe live action films, and that's not saying a lot.
Oh, see, now I'm gonna disagree. This is the worst by far. Oh, easy.
Yeah.
This is so boring. There's no G.I. Joe fun happening. Like,
so I think I'm not as harsh on it as you guys. I did like is a strong word.
I just don't know. Honestly, Brandon, I'm not gonna fight you on this movie because I don't have the energy to. But I honestly don't know what there is to really like about this movie. Like, I'm being serious. Henry Golding does nothing in this movie. Everyone's sleepwalking through this movie. There's not a big action scene that we don't see in the trailers. This is a non-movie to me, man. Like, I thought it was so whatever.
I'm not disagreeing with any of that, except I will say I like Henry Golding in this movie. He was doing something for me. I
think you really like him, dude. What's his character? Tell me Snake Eyes' character. He's a bad Star-Lord. He's a bad Star-Lord. He's out for revenge to find out who killed his father. What's his personality? Who is he in the movie? What is besides revenge? Who is he?
I thought you didn't have the energy to fight me on this.
I just because I'm right, because he doesn't have a character.
I mean, it may not. Whatever happened in this movie didn't work for you, and that's fine. I'm not saying it's a bad. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm not saying it's a good movie. I'm not going to say that. I found something to latch on to with Henry Golding. Maybe it's that I like him as an actor, or maybe I did find something in his interpretation of Snake Eyes, who doesn't really have much of a character anyway.
Storm Shadow is so much more of a character in this movie than Snake Eyes.
God, the way they name drop the way they
so bad.
Jesus.
So Sparks, did he tell you what it was?
No, I just know.
So Sparks. So what happens is in this movie, Storm Shadow gives his chief of security person this look, this like I want to kill this guy look, and she goes, I don't like that look. What look? The storm, the shadow before the storm.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, okay.
This movie, because there's actually some like.
There's a reason.
Why
also, I was really content
Snake Eyes as a character sucks. This script feels like it was written in 2002. When we're introduced to the lady, I don't even know her name. They say her name once in the movie. When they're introduced to like the chiefs of security, Snake Eyes goes, "Oh, who is she? Is she your secretary? Is she your wife? Is she your girlfriend?" And he's like, "No, that's our chief of staff. She'll kick your ass." And I'm like, I hate this movie.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's so awful.
Not only that, there's I see some undertones that she actually likes Snake Eyes.
Yeah, of course, because she's a female lead, and they have to be romantic together. Of course. The only thing I do like in this movie is the Baroness. She's the only person who's in this G.I. Joe movie.
I wanted to one of my big criticisms with this is that actually I don't think this movie needed any G.I. Joe anything, because the only time that we see a G.I. Joe, which is Scarlet, which is Samara Weaving, she could be written out of the movie altogether and it wouldn't have changed anything.
Yeah. But here's the thing, Brandon. I 100% agree, but the only time I was having fun was when those characters were on screen.
Sure.
Yeah. Like Samara Weaving.
Like the flaw of the movie is that it wasn't G.I. Joe enough.
Yes.
So
because Snake Eyes sucks.
Because Snake Eyes hard to be away from it.
Because Snake Eyes. First of all, why do you make your main movie about the guy who doesn't talk? First of all, like, I don't care how he turns into that because he doesn't talk. His personality is not there anyway. So it's weird that they went in this direction in the first place. Secondly, the one thing that I actually like about the movie is the world building with the Joes, because it shows us that all this stuff has already been happening, and you have the Joes and you have Cobra, and then Snake Eyes gets brought into this world.
Sure.
But Snake Eyes sucks, and everyone else is so much cooler.
Yeah, it is weird that they chose Snake Eyes to do this and not like Duke. But I kind of understand like why you wouldn't want to do that. But Snake Eyes probably wasn't the first characters to get an origin. It's like Wolverine. Like we've never seen his origin in the comics either.
Well, the reality is that this is very much like a kind of like the Wolverine situation. Honestly, very similar, because it's like this was wanted when G.I. Joe 2 was coming out. The whole intention was that like very soon after G.I. Joe 2 came out, they were going to put out a Snake Eyes one. Then G.I. Joe 2 underperformed. They're like, well, we'd still really like to get that Snake Eyes movie out there because he makes hot merchandise. This has been like floating as a film idea since then. Yeah. And this is ultimately what they came out with. But I mean, like, it has been dragged out into this process. So like they were always catering to an audience that like isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Like I do think like you probably at least would have capitalized on like the recognizability of Snake Eyes better excuse me, by positioning it at a point when it was closer to the G.I. Joe.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
really interested in a second movie that has Scarlet, Samara Weaving as Scarlet. I do agree that the little she's on screen, as useless as she is in the movie, to its story, she is having a lot of fun, and you can tell.
Yeah, like her and Baroness, like they just show up and they get to have fun, and like they're not part of like the family drama or anything.
They're like the window into what the movies can be.
100%, and like you don't care about spoilers, like whatever. Like
no,
there's a point where like there's like an arms deal that goes down between like Cobra and these assassins, and then the G.I. Joes come in, and then they all have to end up working together. And I like that, and it's like so cheesy, and it's so 1980s G.I. Joe of like, oh, we have to fight against a common enemy, and like this feels like G.I. Joe right now. But then everything else, it's just so generic. It's so basic ninja stuff. How many times did they say honor in this movie, Brandon? It's too many. It's too many. Hey guys, you know samurais are honorable. I'm done with it. I'm tired of it.
Do they do honor like they do the gun cocking sound in Stargate?
It's maybe not as egregious. Maybe not that bad. I want to try to be positive, like I really do, but like
I did try, and you beat me.
I just like this
movie. You were positive about something he really didn't like.
It's 2 hours, man. This movie just goes and nothing happens.
Yeah, it's way too long.
We're reviewing Space Jam because it feels like we're reviewing Space Jam.
I wish I would have saw that, because at least I can like make fun of the Clockwork Orange.
There's two, so it's 2 hours. It's 2 hours and 1 minute. It should be an hour and a half. There's nothing in this movie that warrants the 2 hour runtime. And while you may think that Storm Shadow was the better character in this film, I don't think his arc works at all. I don't get it. I don't get his arc at all.
He turns too fast into the villain. No, I agree. I just thought he was the better actor.
Yeah.
In it.
Oh yeah, he is the better. I think in this movie he probably is the better actor.
Yeah. And for a big action movie, I think most of the action sucks. I think
so. This was my biggest thing. Like honestly, just being full disclosure, why I was kind of like, I don't really want to see G.I. Joe's or just Snake Eyes. If I hear like things that push me in the direction, I didn't. Yeah. But if I heard things that pushed me in a different direction from what I was feeling from the trailers, but every time I saw a trailer for this, all I was thinking is like, the only thing that's making me want to see this movie is Henry Golding. Yeah. Like nothing else about it is appealing. Every action bit they showed in the trailer, I'm like, this looks like the CW. Like, this is the action that I watch on TV all the time. This is the most basic. Like, nothing else is happening here.
I can think of one cool action beat that I liked. Excuse me. And it was a practical, like, cool effect. A dude has his hands bound behind his back, and he does a jump flip, and he puts his hands under his legs as someone swipes it as he gets to get up. That's the one cool, like, fight scene in the movie, or, like, practical thing in the movie. But otherwise, it's like, you know, in the first Christopher Nolan Batman movies, how the action's very close up and tight? That's what the action in here. And like when you have sword fights, you want to see it.
Yeah, I heard it's so close. I heard a lot of shaky cam looking to fight stuff.
The first fight sequence in this film that we see him where he gets beat up by in the punching one is the worst fight sequence in the movie. I think it's unintelligible to look at. I could not understand the narrative of the fight.
Also,
that's bad.
Yeah.
And if you're doing sword fighting, you need to pull out, and they never do, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
Also,
man.
sorry guys, cats, but
okay. I'm just shitting on it. You're fine.
So we're talking about the swords, right? The sword fights.
Yeah.
Normally, I get excited for sword fights in movies. You guys know I love sword fights. That's like my only redeeming quality of a horrible film I talked about earlier, Brandon, Transformers: Last Night. It are some of the sword fights. Yeah, this one, it was very like Sparks or Ryan or someone said earlier, shaky cam, because shaky cam is a big problem with this movie. And I want to see the fights. I want to like, oh, what's going on? It's just, but it turned into a blurry mess, and I'm just like, oh my freaking God. It's like, why?
So.
You have these master swordsmen. I know this is a movie, and I have to like toss reality out the window, and I have to like, this is a movie, swords like that aren't going to break and everything. But I'm just watching this. It got to the point where it just shows so shaky and just so horribly done that moves are being done or performed with these swords. I'm like, that sword would snap in two if you did it like that. It got to that point. There was no like, oh, this is awesome. It's like, wow, you have that. That's just no. Yeah,
the choreography was really messy. Like it looked like there was a lot going on, but like it wasn't like sophisticated. It was just lots of things happening. So I know you said, I saw you mentioned on Twitter, Brandon, you had like one of your nightmares come to life. I have a huge problem with this movie, and it's not, and I normally wouldn't, but like up until the point where giant snakes show up in the movie, up until this point, this movie is pretty realistic, right? There's no fantastical elements. This is just straight.
Well, except for the diamond that it combusts people.
No, but we don't know it does that yet. That's later. That's at the end.
That's true. So there's a diamond that combusts people from the inside.
This movie, that's what I mean. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm still reading.
Yeah. Hold on. Yes. So
I need to talk about this. So
there's a test that Snake Eyes has. He gets dropped down, and there's 3 giant snakes, and the 3 giant snakes will eat you unless you're pure of heart. That's the test. He has to be pure of heart, but he's not pure of heart. He cheats, or his lady comes and saves him, or whatever.
His lady comes and saves him.
His lady comes and saves him. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because I need to talk about that. Snake Eyes is named after the dice roll.
Yep.
They even show that in the trailer.
Yep.
Yeah, it's in the movie.
But Snakes is in his name.
But they decide, and here's the thing, Ryan. I hate snakes. I am deathly scared of snakes. It has been well noted on this podcast and in my life. The snake I hate the most is the anaconda. Because theoretically, if it never dies, it doesn't stop growing. And that's terrifying to me, as it's a snake that just keeps growing. And if you recall, the one image I have in my head whenever I think about snakes for almost 30 years has been the snake orgy from Anaconda 2, Curse of the Blood Ruby.
Blood Orchid,
whatever the hell. I've never thought I'd ever see that in another movie, and I did in this movie.
Oh yeah,
not specifically snakes fucking, but like giant slithering anacondas who are who are so long lived, so they never die. So they never die, and they never stop growing.
BRB cats.
I felt so bad for the person next to me, and for the most part, I had the balcony all to myself. But I couldn't watch it, and just hearing it, I almost had to leave the theater. I was so terrified.
Damn, it's to be fair,
twice.
Very large, large. Very realistic snakes. very large. But what? His name's Snake Eyes because of dice.
And I was like Zara told me, like, well, it's snakes in his name. She should know. I was like, no, you don't need to put snakes in a movie about Snake Eyes because of the dice.
So G.I. Joe, as far as I'm aware, isn't fantastical. As far as I'm aware, it is science fiction, like hard, like military technology. That doesn't include giant snakes and crystals they can launch fire out of. That's straight magic. It's straight
they explode magic. People. They explode people from the inside.
They explode people, but also he did it to the entire house. He lit a house on fire.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, this dude just has a crystal and it turns things on fire. It's magic. It's a weird thing to say, but it took me out of this movie, this ninja movie that also had giant snakes in it. But I'm like, they're not even like keeping to the laws of their own movie. Like it's changing what type of movie it is at the end of the movie. It's turning into a big fantasy movie with big fire explosions. And I'm like, oh boy, I'm not a fan. Yeah. Not a fan.
I
Shadow behind the storm.
Shadow behind the storm. My God.
I also saw Brandon's tweet about his nightmare, and I'm like, man, did they find a way to put snakes in the Snake Eyes
They did
movie?
for no reason.
Man, that sucks.
The second, because I saw Brandon's tweet, and the second we get to the pit, I'm like, is this like a snake pit? And then
here's the thing.
That's like going out of your way to put a real Wolverine in a Wolverine movie.
No, one of the things that really screwed me over is that I was watching this movie, and again, it's totally realistic. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And then Hardmaster, who I think is too young. I think Hardmaster has always been portrayed as an old man. I don't understand what they did.
Real quick, so there's a character named Hardmaster, and they have the beautiful joke of going hard on master. They make a dick joke, and I'm like, this is definitely written in like 2003.
Oh, there's in G.I. Joe Retaliation, Storm Shadow has a turn to be a good guy again, and I thought similarly that didn't work either. As cool as that moment is, it's like all of a sudden Storm Shadow is like, I've always known that Zartan actually killed the Hardmaster.
You reminded me, just real quick, that the Storm Shadow from the original G.I. Joe movies is a really dope South Korean actor from The Good and Bad and the Weird. He's an incredible guy, and he does great action. I'm like, could have been that guy.
This reminds me a lot of the critique of Venom about how Venom like however you feel about it in general, audience. Venom feels like a movie that escaped the early 2000s as far as a script, and this feels a lot like in that vein. Where it's just like, how did this end up here and not think about the time period it was made in at all?
Yeah.
So I have another problem with this movie as I was watching it.
That's
so
all this is.
There's a lot of problems. It's called G.I. Joe or Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins, right? So I'm thinking like the same font as everything is there, and I'm thinking, oh, this takes place before the main G.I. Joe movies that came out. Okay, a bit of a stretch, but I can dig it. Yeah, no, this is an entire freaking reboot of how the Joe team, and I was like, wow.
I'm confused at that, actually. Ben, of all the problems you can have with this movie, we've always known this was a reboot.
I didn't.
Because they recast Scarlet and the Baroness, who were in the first G.I. Joe movie.
I just figured it was just a recast. I didn't realize it.
No, it's a new thing.
Or it could just been I've been so far removed from the G.I. Joe films that I just thought, oh yeah, I've seen the other G.I. Joe movies. I'm going to see some of the same people. And then I remember on my drive home, I was like, wait, but Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes had the same master, and then oh wow, they messed up big time.
Real quickly, if this film had come out a couple years earlier, it would have been a prequel to the G.I. Joe The Rise of Cobra, because that film takes place in 2020.
Yep.
Oh shit.
Even though it came out in 2009 or something like that.
Yeah, like I just like it's the action wasn't good. Like I didn't find it funny. Like it just felt like it was just the most generic dialogue of like yeah, got him. Like it's not we're not a good. He kills a guy and he goes yeah. I'm like that's not a catchphrase, Henry.
So there's one positive.
Go for it.
Out of this dumpster fire of a movie, and that's the Blind Master.
Yeah, he's good.
Cool.
I like the Blind Master.
RZA in G.I. Joe Retaliation.
That's it.
That's hilarious.
Right.
Yeah, I also kind of like the Baroness too, because I like Baroness because she's also a badass, and also I like Scarlet. Okay, 3 positives.
The one time I enjoyed the action was when Hard Master and Blind Master were fighting with the grandmother. I thought that was pretty cool.
Grandmother's pretty dope too.
Not that Henry Golding isn't like a master martial artist, but it helps that Hard Master is an actual martial artist, and the guy who worked on the Raid movies.
It's not an old lady, Sparks.
Wait. The guy who played
out of context, man. I really love when Hard Master and Blind Master were fighting the grandmother. It's really funny.
Okay, so I'm going back to another movie we talked about earlier. Actually, no, maybe the worst movie we saw was Monster Hunter.
Yeah, Monster Hunter. That's not a new movie though. It doesn't count.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you mean. Like yes, 100%. You're right. That was the shitfest movie.
That's the one.
Well, the reason why I bring up Monster Hunter is, am I wrong? Am I wrong in thinking that the actor who played the guy in Monster Hunter and Hard Master, is that the same guy, or are those?
No, it's not the same guy. It's Tony Jaa in Monster Hunter. It's a different guy in here. Yeah, they look similar.
Sorry.
I forgot what I was going to... Oh, yeah. I want to talk a bit about Storm Shadow. Because as I mentioned in G.I. Joe Retaliation, it's always in the G.I. Joe films, and I don't know if this is in the comics or the old cartoon, but the reason why Storm Shadow is not with Snake Eyes is because he is framed for... He kills Hard Master. In G.I. Joe Retaliation, it's revealed that Zartan actually killed Hard Master and framed him, Storm Shadow. But it's weird to me in that movie because it's like, if you always knew that, why didn't you come clean before hundreds of people died with you in Cobra? And I think it's weird that his hero turn in G.I. Joe Retaliation and his villain turn in G.I. Joe Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origin are both poorly handled. It's such a weird parallel.
Maybe don't just try to change the character. Just have him just be the bad guy.
Maybe just let bad guys be bad guys.
Yeah, just bad dudes be bad dudes.
Yeah, I mean, it was fueled because they wanted Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes to fight together.
Yeah, sure. I get it.
I don't want to talk about this movie anymore.
I don't understand. I want one more thing. I'm sorry. I don't understand why you do this movie in general. Because it's a character who is known for not being able to speak or choosing not to speak ever. Yes. And you decide to make a movie based out of him where he has to talk. And I just...
Again,
why this?
Again, I think at the time the concept wasn't necessarily to. I don't think when this movie was originally conceived, they were
ago.
doing like a background origin movie.
Yeah.
That was him before he was in the mask, that kind of thing. I think it was just supposed to be a Snake Eyes movie.
Yeah.
Where he's the focus.
But then enough time passed.
But you know, it was still going to be Ray Park in the suit. It was still going to be all that. And like the answer is merchandising. Like Snake Eyes was the most marketable thing coming out of those movies because he was the only one who looked cool as a toy figure.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just what it was. And so I think that was the logic. And then again, like you just have that idea, like we need to make a Snake Eyes movie, just pander down over the years. And then they're like, well, we should actually like add character and pathos and all this stuff. And so like, those are nice ideas. Like, yeah, sure. But that translates into, well, we'll cast Henry Golding because people like Henry Golding. It's like, should he be playing Snake Eyes though? And it's like, I don't care. He's good looking. And it's like the guy's going to end up in a mask and not talking. And it's like, I don't care. He's good looking. And that seems to be the consensus it ends up at. But like certainly where it started was that it was going to be like maybe vaguely showing like flashback stuff of him in the original conception of this, but it would have mostly been left to Ray Park still as the central focus figure. And they just wanted to make a movie that was still set in that G.I. Joe film universe. And then it took too long and pandered down all the way into this.
I'm happy for Henry Golding get that paycheck. I'm sure your theater had it, Brandon. He's like, hey, I'm Henry. Thanks for coming to watch this movie. We put our blood, sweat, and tears in this movie. They paid me to say this.
Poor Henry.
And I'm just like, you don't need to be, maybe you don't need this franchise, Henry. Maybe you just don't need it. Because like, again, Brandon, the thing is like, if he's a character who doesn't talk, you can never have him become that character because you're not going to make Henry Golding not talk and put a mask on. You know what I mean? It's like,
Does he not end up like unable to speak at the end of the movie?
We see it. Hey, remember in the trailer where he's on a bike wearing the outfit? That's the end of the movie. That's the end of the shot of the movie, which I predicted, which is stupid. This isn't cool.
And he still hasn't taken his vow of silence at all.
Two things. One, hashtag Henry Golding for James Bond. And two, thank goodness they didn't give his helmet lips. Like in that first G.I. Joe movie, those voluptuous lips.
It sounds like that would have been like bottom of the barrel of the issues. Like if that had still been present, but a lot of these other things had been fixed, that would have been like, yeah, I mean, that's fine. It's weird, but it's fine.
The decision still baffles me. All right.
Can he go?
Yeah, I wish. You can't separate the lips now. See, like now that this movie's out, like I feel like I'm gonna go back to the first G.I. Joe movie, and like it's not. It's not great, but like when I think of G.I. Joe, I think of big action, the Eiffel Tower getting incinerated by nanotechnology. Like that's what I'm thinking of, not half-assed ninja action.
I mean, G.I. Joe, like conceptually as a live action film, should basically be like Mission Impossible, but like on popcorn crack.
Yeah.
Like just going off on doing like ridiculous shit. That's like what you want it to be.
That's what we were talking about in the beginning of this when I said I watched G.I. Joe Retaliation, that both Ryan and I agree that the perfect G.I. Joe movie lies in between the two.
Because Retaliation wasn't as bombastic and G.I. Joey, but it was a better just like action movie, but it didn't feel like a G.I. Joe movie.
Sure.
But the first one is a goofier film. Mm-hmm. It really leans into the G.I. Joe-ness. So combining the two would be the way to go.
Right.
The right creative team.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. As a Transformers producer said, them crossing over with Transformers is inevitability. So that's where G.I. Joe's heading now.
It always happens.
Mm-hmm.
Let's rate it. Ryan, why don't you go first?
I'd like to go first.
How low am I going to go is the actual question. Because, like, again, there was nothing, like, so bad that I was offensive, but that makes it worse because I just, like, I'm not going to remember this movie in 2 days. Because, like, all the dialogue, like, there's nothing, like, memorable about any of this. Like, I'm gonna give it a 5. Like, it's, in a week, I might go lower. Like, I'm going to give it a 5.
Fairness says drops the F-bomb in this movie.
She do tell, Ben.
She just says,
Did she do the dirty?
She says F this, and then she's off the screen.
Yep.
Ben, why don't you rate it?
I was thinking about my rating because I remember the last time I gave like a super low rating was for Crimes of Grindelwald, and I said that was a 4. But that made me super mad. This one, like Ryan said, this is very middle of the road. This is forgettable. I'm not going to remember this movie. If you were to show me overseas, like, hey, you saw Snake Eyes, I'm like, did I?
If you saw the trailers, like no joke, if you saw the trailers, you saw most of the good action.
Yeah,
It's a bummer. It's a bummer.
Sad because I didn't even think that action was good.
You're right.
I'm good. I'll have to agree with Ryan. It's a 5. It is
5.
like,
yeah, nothing in this movie made me mad, so I don't want to go too low because a fine film is a fine film with your popcorn. It's really just 2 hours wasted, really. But nothing in it made me mad, like a Crimes of Grindelwald, like a Wonder Woman 84.
Well, yeah, because you're not invested.
Yeah, I think potentially that could be a reason. So I'd probably go. I think I'd agree with the 5, but I kind of want to give it a 5.5.
okay.
Give it.
I'll give it a 3. That's my decree.
Hell yeah. Honestly,
I'm comfortable in the 5 space.
We watched like Black Widow, and then we watched Gunpowder Milkshake, and then we watched Snake Eyes. I'm scared for next week.
Jungle Cruise.
Jungle Cruise.
Oh no. Oh, Dwayne.
It's okay. Green Knight's out the same week.
Well, I mean,
I'm just kidding. I'm not worried about Jungle Cruise.
no, it's gotta be good. Hope so.
Yeah.
I hope
All
so
right.
too.
I don't think it'll be a further descent from
Listen,
this.
the last Jungle Cruise trailer, I had more fun.
I don't feel like it is possible for Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt together to lack the charm and charisma and chemistry that would lower below what you guys have described in Snake Eyes. Like, I'm like, that movie could be a dog shit of a plot,
Man.
and it will still be better because of those two.
Shall we do our book club?
Yeah. Book it.
Can you hear it?
Is that a waffle?
Yes.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Oh, it's a popper.
Oh, is that the new thing?
It's ages 9. It's ages 9 through 12. And I said, yeah, screw it. I'm 30. I'll take it. Ben, it's your book club. Take it. Go for it. Do it. Do the thing.
Take it away.
Sure.
Yeah, so my book club is Superman.Last, written by Jeff Johns and Richard Donner.
Last Son of Krypton.
It says Last Son here, but yeah, Last Son of Krypton.
Oh, it must have been rebranded.
It was reprinted. This is the reprint. You have the other one, but yeah, it's the same thing because it's Last Son of Krypton, same bloody thing. But yeah, it's written by Jeff Johns, and the reason why I picked it is also co-written by the late great Richard Donner, whom we all know is the director of Superman movie, as well as a whole plethora of other films, and it's drawn by Adam Kubert. It's a collection of a bunch that I had it right here. It's a collection of Action Comics 844 and 846, 851, and Action Comics Annual number 11.
844 to 846.
Yeah, that's why I meant. Thank you, Sparks, for the correction. Yeah. So this is the first time I've read this book, but I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. What did you think of Last Son / Last Son of Krypton?
Well, I guess I don't need to read out Sparks's comments to me because he's here.
I'm here.
Oh yeah.
And you read this one.
You should do it.
I did.
You should
This
do
is
it anyway.
the second time I've read it. Yeah, read what I said anyway. Let's see if I disagree with it.
All right, I'm going to pull it up as Ryan says his first thoughts.
I quite enjoyed the first volume, the first arc, if you will, the Last Son of Krypton with the Zod Jr., as we'll call it. I thought that was pretty good. Chris, yeah. I thought the Brainiac one was kind of whatever, to be honest.
I think the Brainiac one worked better in that movie, Superman Unbound.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. I wonder how much Donner had to actually like co-write with this. You know, like when you have two people writing, like how much does one do the actual work? But I felt the first arc was really good, and it felt like a continuation of Donner's movies in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the Brainiac arc was just full Jeff Johns being Jeff Johns.
Wait,
for better or worse.
What are you guys talking about Brainiac? Because there's no Brainiac thing in this.
Sorry? Is there really no Brainiac thing in that?
Not in this one. No, it ends.
Okay.
With,
all right. I was
curious.
curious about this.
Yeah.
So what happens?
Here's the last page of the book. It ends with Mon-El trying to go find Christopher in the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, I know,
okay.
Ben. So here's what happened to Ryan and I. I'm assuming, Ryan, you also read the Recomics Online thing. That has the original trade paperback, which collects which collects other issues that have an arc where Brainiac comes back to Earth and Jonathan Kent dies.
Oh my god. I'm so glad that we don't have to talk about that one then, because I thought it was not very good. It has some really, really disgusting writing in it, some really shitty Supergirl stuff. I thought the first arc was so much better. I'm so glad we're talking about
Gary
that.
Frank does that. Gary Frank does the art in that story.
And that Brainiac
We're only talking about the 5 issues
Woo!
here. Which ends with the Mon-El bit.
Hell yeah.
Wait, Ryan, is that the reason why you posted that picture of Supergirl looking at the woman with the breast implants?
Yes.
Cat Grant.
Yeah.
Jesus, okay.
So that's a Cat Grant. That's Cat Grant. She shows up in that.
Yeah. But we're not talking about that, thankfully. We're talking about this
Since I read it, I want to talk a bit about that.
Sure.
I like the idea that's where all the Brainiacs through all of Superman's history have just been drones, and this is the first time he's meeting the real Brainiac. I think that's a really cool story.
I agree.
And Gary Frank's a great artist, and that's it.
I'm really glad you agree, Brendan. I just don't know what it is, like with Richard Donner not being there. I just found like all like the Daily Planet like dialogue just like not good. I just thought it was like kind of gross. I think the art's great with the Brainiac stuff. I agree with the Brainiac like prime idea is a cool idea.
Yeah. Also, I like that era of Supergirl. That just reminded me of that era of Supergirl. But we're not talking about that.
We're talking about last time.
So now we're here. Sorry,
here is,
we read 5 issues. We have to talk about it.
I get you.
Yeah.
So here is
Yeah.
Here is what Sparks texted me earlier today about this book. Love the art, specifically the paneling. Enjoy the story. Really liked this the first time I read it. Could have sworn we talked about it before, but maybe I just talked to someone about it.
That's true. I had to text Brandon because I'm like, did we do this? Mm-hmm. Like, I've been trying to scour our book clubs because I'm like, I swear we did this. And I guess that I just read it and then had a long conversation with someone about it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I know I've talked with someone about this recently, like in the last few years.
Mm-hmm. Feel the story does a good job of sidestepping being hokey by revealing the boy's parentage.
Yeah.
And really like the characterization of struggles with Zod.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's what you texted me.
Yeah, in general, I really, really like this book. I'm pretty sure the reason I read it the first time was because this was right around Jonathan Kent coming in.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was reading it because people were talking about it in relation to like Superman being a dad. And I think there is a lot of like kind of like getting the early like what would form the concept of Superman as father is in this story. Mm-hmm. And I really, really like it. Yeah. I think it's really, really pretty. I like the way
Adam Kubert, right?
that like this has an impressive list of Superman's rogues gallery that I feel is well balanced.
I love what's it called? Like the Sinister Squad or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
I like the team up of Parasite and Bizarro and Lex.
Metallo is one of my favorite elements of this book because he has now not just green kryptonite in his core, he also has different colored kryptonite on all parts of his body.
It's so cool.
He tries out gold kryptonite, which makes the Kryptonians just fall down, just lose their powers and fall straight down to the ground. I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, I just think that for such a small package of just 5 issues, it has a lot of character stuff packed into it, and I don't feel like it's overstuffed or poorly executed. I think it all hits its marks.
I love the plot. Just the idea of like this kid gets like we arrive here and he's like a Kryptonian. He's actually from the Phantom Zone, and it's like, oh, it's Zod's kid, and like this is like an invasion plan. And the kid's now against him. He's with Superman. I'm like, oh my god, this is like a movie. I would love to watch this movie.
Pretty much my favorite use of Mon-El. Just like I looked into Mon-El stuff after I read this because I'm like I really don't know much about Mon-El in relation to the comic stories, and just like this tragic caught their story. And the way this book ends with him just like, I'm gonna keep looking for the kid, and then like we never find the kid. Is just sad.
Yeah, I wanted to look after I read this book. I wanted to look up what certain things happen because there's a bit where Zod says there's something far worse than me in the Phantom Zone, and you're gonna meet it. I'm like, did we ever meet that thing before they rebooted in New 52? But Christopher Kent does come back. In a couple of stories after this, before just kind of being erased from continuity.
Aww.
Yeah, I think what I mean is like, we never really go back to this.
Yeah.
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 I love because he speaks Kryptonese. I thought it would have been Kryptonian, but it's Kryptonese.
I know Kryptonese. That's really funny to me because in the original Star Trek series, they said that instead of speaking Klingon, they spoke Klingonese.
Jeez Louise.
Well, because would you say, well, we speak
humanese?
No, that's true.
Chris is like, Kal-El, please don't go. Please stay with me, like in Kryptonese. And Superman, being the greatest, he's like, tell you what, I'll be here until you fall asleep, and I'll be here before you wake up, I promise. And I'm like,
and then the military makes him a liar.
And then the military makes him a liar. Superman's flying by a bunch of people, and he's like, good morning, don't forget to drink your orange juice. And I'm like, oh, what a Kansas boy.
He's flying by being Superman. That's one of the things I absolutely love about this book. I really enjoyed reading this because Ryan, you said it earlier. This does feel like a continuation. Like if Richard Donner was able to do a Superman 3, this could have been a form of Superman 3 because you get Zod, you get Ursa, you get that other guy, the big brute, Non. Yeah, you get them, and just the whole time I'm reading this book, I was like, man, this is. Because I do feel the Richard Donner charm with his Superman, like when Perry's in the office yelling, and then Clark is looking out and listening to all the people, and he sees the rocket come down. The only thing I'm glad that things have changed as as comics went on is Jonathan Kent, like the mere existence. Because in this book, Jor-El straight up says like humans and Kryptonians can't
Yeah.
mix. Sorry, ain't gonna happen. And of course, we know that Jonathan Kent exists.
Well,
so,
Jor-El even says it in this that the humans and Kryptonians don't mix was a lie that Superman told Lois. Because Jor-El even says, like, we can reproduce with humans. It's like, I know.
Yeah, right.
I thought that was a really cool moment.
Bringing up the art again, Adam Kubert is a guy who's been around forever. Like he's still doing comics today. And this comic is like a decade old or so. The paneling, it's so good. Like it feels like so sci-fi, and especially like when it's talking about like the General Zod like backstory. I just think it's just
I do like getting more. Non as a character, I wasn't too familiar with, and Kryptonian. I knew about Jax-Ur, who has one of my favorite reveals where he just bursts out of the ship. I was like, "It's me, Jax-Ur!" But Non was cool when they're just like they're talking about like, I can't believe Jor-El didn't side with Zod because even after what they did to Non.
Yeah.
Because the Science Council lobotomized Non, it's implied.
Zod, like I just remembered like Zod, his outfit is like unlike anything we've seen Zod wear before. It's like super future sci-fi looking. It's got like a robe. It's almost like Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow.
I really like it.
He's got like cool goggles, like science goggles. Like it's a different Zod, even than like the Zod that's in the next volume of Brainiac. Like they look completely different, right? I love this interpretation of Zod and the Kryptonians. I kind of wish like, I know like every artist has their own version, but like I love this like retro sci-fi.
There's also a scene with Lex Luthor that I thought was really good, where Lex, like, I was finally right. I was right. The Kryptonians, blah blah blah. And when Superman even comes to ask for help, he like laughs in his face.
Yeah,
I love.
Oh
it.
yeah,
hold up. I just want to say how much I love that scene when Superman bursts in and he's telling Lex, is like, you have figured out tried so many ways to kill me, so many weapons to end me. Mind if I borrow them? Just him holding Luthor up by his shirt. And he's like, can I borrow some of these? Just him dropping that line is like, oh, that's great. Even when Lex does kill a Kryptonian and he goes, feels good.
Yeah, I'm curious. Does he? I was curious about that line. Like, would Lex Luthor would he feel good or would he feel different? But like, I don't know.
I think after this becomes president, right?
If this is, when is this? 2000? Yeah, probably around there.
Yeah, I don't know if this is like what like leads him down that path, but I think around here he's going to run for president and win.
Yeah.
God, like the paneling when he loses Chris is so good.
Yeah.
Just that whole page.
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
is such great stuff. Like
the covers are really good.
Just gorgeous. Like the I think the characterizations are all really strong. I think this does a good job of also making making like the event feel like the event it should, without like, again, like avoiding that overstuffed feeling. Like the Justice League appears, but we don't have to pay a ton of attention to it. But they are there, and it's good because it's like they would show up at this moment, and it feels earned.
They don't even get dialogue.
Yeah.
Not really. No. So the splash page I just showed to audio listeners who are listening, it's a scene where Superman is looking out on the destruction of Metropolis. Like there's a semi-truck lodged in a building, and the destruction is shown through the reflection of the window glass.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's just heartbreaking. But
Superman is standing on the semi.
Yes, he's standing on the semi. It's gorgeous art. I mean, it's gorgeous, and also it's sad to see the city destroyed, but it's just gorgeous nonetheless. But another thing I love is I've always loved the banter between Superman and Lois.
Sure.
And even when because in the beginning of the book, because Lois says, we discussed this. We should not be parents. This is not what we're supposed to do. And then when Chris saves her, she's like, okay, I want to try though. And the scene in the elevator is one of my favorites. It's like, but Batman did this. Who's Batman? So you're not going to meet until you're 16. Yeah, well, Wonder Woman did this. Who's Wonder Woman? So you're not going to meet until you're 18.
I think in this Lois Lane is where the Richard Donner comes out, because this feels like Margaret Kidder.
Yeah.
I think
that's where the biggest one is.
I agree. I think like all of them are just this is such a good microcosm of like, who are these characters fundamentally? Who are these characters when you would want to adapt them to the screen? Who should they be? It's these characters. It's this Lois Lane. It's this Jonathan Kent. It's this Martha Kent. It's this Jimmy. It's this Superman. It's this Clark. It's this Lex. It's this Zod.
I love the Sunday Watch.
They're also, it's this Jor-El. Like all the characters just feel so very truly like the core of who they are. It's true, like you feel how much Richard Donner is influencing the project itself. But I think it's really, really working for it. The whole core is so pure to Superman. And it works on every level at every moment. I really liked it the first time I read it as just this window into like Clark so desperately wanting to be protective of this kid and be there for him. And I remember the first time I read the turn, and it's Zod like, gotta find my kid, and it's like, oh no, because like this doesn't end well.
At the same time, this is also, maybe this might be a bit of a stretch, but it's kind of like a nature versus nurture sort of thing. But in this case, like Clark and Lois nurturing the son of Zod. Like we all know who General Zod is. We know he's a horrible dictator. We know he's a horrible Kryptonian, a horrible person in general. But then his son, he visions his biological father's own hand. And the scene with like when it's like when Ursa comes in and says, "Give me back my son," and Chris like, I don't want to go with her. He wants to be with Lois, the person who actually cares for him. He wants to be, and when he's sacrificing himself at the end of the book to go into the Phantom Zone, it's like he's doing it out of compassion to save others, which is what.
That was an Iron Giant moment.
It definitely was an Iron Giant moment.
Yeah, speaking about like Lois's connection to Chris, like one of my favorite moments in the whole thing is the moment when the bus comes down on Chris, and Lois has been like not so much wanting to be his mom, wanting to look after him, like kind of leave it to its own devices, and she looks into the bus and sees him like frozen and crying, even though he's unharmed technically. And that's really like the moment when Lois turns on how she feels about him, and I thought that's illustrated beautifully. Like the other moment. Go ahead.
I was going to extrapolate on it. Like she helps him get out of the bus, and she's like, "It's okay." And then the Daily Planet globe comes down, like it does a lot. And Chris holds it, and then you see him put it down, and then once again, Lois is running away. She's holding him, giving him a hug, telling him everything's gonna be okay.
I want to be
right.
Also, like going back a few pages. Superman's talking to Chris, and he's like, "Yeah, you'll be with Lois." She's like, "Lois doesn't like me." Of course, Lois like. Boom. That's when Bizarro comes in and pushes Superman into the ground.
Yep, I love the Bizarro look.
I do too.
I do too.
Again, like all the
All the
looks.
art,
Yeah.
all the character designs are so good. Another like big moment I want to spotlight is when Chris does blast at Zod, and Zod's like, "What do you think you're doing?" He's like, "What Superman would do." And I think that moment's just you want that to be a movie moment. You're like, yeah, get him.
So
See, we got that moment. We got that moment in Superman Returns when the little baby boy pushes the piano with the guy with the clown face on the back of his head.
Oh yeah, that guy. I forgot about that part.
Everyone else did too.
I like that movie.
No, I like that movie too. It's fine. I mean, he's not a good person, but Kevin Spacey plays a really good Lex Luthor.
Wrong.
And also,
He says that in the movie. Get it?
yeah, I know he does that in the movie. And also, Brandon Routh getting to play Superman again for Crisis was nice to see that.
Sure. Anything else you want to bring up on this one? Looks like we're fading.
No, I like this a lot.
Yeah.
I'm really glad we picked it, Ben. I honest to God never thought of it because I thought we did it.
I mean,
Well,
you guys know why I picked it. Richard, rest in peace, passed away, and I was like, I picked it up because his name was on it. I mean, we've read a lot of Jeff Johns books on this podcast, and we've talked a lot about Jeff Johns, and this was definitely one of those books that has been on my bookshelf. I was like, I really need to read this. I just haven't had the time, and now I forced myself, and I'm really glad I did. So this is my
to John's credit, like however much of this is him, like it's his
good.
best stuff.
Yeah, it's still good. Yeah,
it's definitely but yeah, this is in a way my little tribute to Richard Donner. So thank you for helping writing this amazing book.
thanks, Rich.
Ryan, it's your book club next week.
Dick Donna, guys, there's a lot of great comics that have come out in the past, early 1,000 years. There's a lot of books that won awards this day that I'm gonna Emma get away from my computer. There's a lot of books. Hey, it's Pulp. I'm gonna read Pulp by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. This won Best Original Graphic Album because that's what they call it at the Eisner albums. We're gonna read this vinyl, all of it, all pages of it, all the pages. Good book.
I thought you would pick Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen.
It's 12 issues. No, I wasn't gonna do that.
Okay.
Not this day.
Not this day.
All right. Pulp. That'll be next week, as well as our discussion, our review of Jungle Cruise.
Jungle Cruise.
Cruise
That's
of the Jungles. Do you think jungles howl?
That's why I said that's not a noise jungles make.
Right. So stay tuned for all of that good stuff. Forgot how to do this. Okay, cool. All right, guys. That'll do it for the Fichtner podcast. We love you. Thank you so much for being here. If you like us, you can check out some of the other things we do. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel, by the way. But you can check out Audio Conversation, which put up a new episode this week that will be linked in the description, where I talked to Andy Palacides from the Great Derelict podcast. One of my favorite episodes I put out. I really enjoyed talking to him.
I can confirm it was a really good episode. I highly enjoyed listening to it.
Appreciate it. And you can check out our other shows on this channel if you subscribe. Mag says, take care, guys.
That he did.
Bye, Mag.
Good
Catch you
night,
later.
Mag.
Stay safe. Good night, Mag. Our Fitness Watch series just wrapped up. Loki, episode 6. That's up now. So check out all those episodes. The next Fitness Watch that we do will be What If, for sure. And potentially Star Trek Lower Decks, myself and Just a Little Podcast, Cookie are talking about doing one for Lower Decks. So stay tuned for that. And of course, we have Basement Arcade. New episodes coming soon. Basement Arcade pause menu. New episodes coming soon.
Yep.
Fake Nerd Book Club, currently on hiatus. And you can check out all the other stuff that we've done for that. Catch up. And Animation Station, which is Sparks' newest show, where we talk about animation stuff. We just recorded Sparks, you were not part of that.
Nope.
Myself and Ben recorded Transformers War for Cybertron Earthrise, and that will be up this week. So stay tuned for that. And should Sparks and I not do Obsidian this week, the next Animation Station would be Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom. So there you go. You can, of course, check out our masks. We have masks. This pandemic is still going. It is like a cockroach. You can't kill it.
It's unfortunately getting worse.
you can buy some masks. We still have some Crafted by Z masks, so go right ahead and pick one up. Linked below. You can of course check out our Patreon. It looks really dirty.
That looks so bad, Ryan.
So uncomfortable.
Thank goodness the audio listeners couldn't see that.
I am really happy.
You look like the guy from Sword. You look like the guy from Sword who talks to the universe to transport him.
Oh.
What's his name?
Oh, I forget. Manifold?
Yeah, me too.
I don't know.
You can check out our Patreon. Links below. Our Patreon has 4 tiers on it: the $1 tier, the $5 tier, the $10 tier, where you get an exclusive shirt. Don't be a dick. That is the variant of this shirt that I am wearing. Subscribe there, and you get that shirt. And our $20 tier, just really like us. You get a bunch of cool stuff, and you can check out our TeePublic, also linked below, where you can get cool shirts, such as the one I'm wearing right now,
with my face on it,
with Ben's face on it. You could get other shirts up there, like logos and things like that. And the one I'm most proud of at this point, which is I'd rather be a fake nerd than a true fan.
And also, you can get shirts with all of our faces on it, not just mine.
Oh, yeah, we got the 8-bit shirt, which I was just wearing a couple days ago.
You totally were.
Yeah, I've got a lot of our merch.
Good.
You can check out our website, or you can find all these links below, or you can find them on our website at www.fakenerdpodcast.com. Other things are up there as well. You can find all these links. Thank you to everyone who listens. Thank you. You look like a Scooby-Doo villain poking through a painting.
Are you sure about that?
Are you sure?
Okay, all right. Quick thing, because it's been on my mind ever since we started recording. When I was just a distant by ahead, all the Comic-Con memories from 3 years ago were popping up on my Facebook feed.
Oh my God, you're so right.
And the one with Ryan going around reminds me of the Yu-Gi-Oh card that he made, which
still in
to
my
this
wallet.
day is still like, I know Ryan never calls me, but if I ever call him, or the one time he does call me, that's the picture that pops up for his caller ID.
Man, it never leaves my wallet. It's in my wallet.
It shouldn't. It freaking shouldn't. Mine is my deck.
Thank you to everyone who watches the live streams. Thank you to everyone who watches the replays. And thank you to everyone who listens to the audio. We greatly appreciate all of your support. We love you guys. Thank you to Jeremy Vellucci, who did our music, our intro music as well that you've heard tonight, and all of the theme songs for every single show we do. You can find him at Jeremy Vellucci Keyboards. You can find his podcast, Suburban Proctologist, on iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts. Facebook.com/Suburban Proctologist Official, or Instagram at SubProc Podcast. I really wish you didn't open a slit, because then I would have thought you had left. At SubProc Podcast. Thank you to Mike Matola. Mike Matola, we're hoping to get on soon. We need to coordinate schedules with him so we can get him on once again. But he did our logos, and we've done so many collaborations with him. We love him. You can find him at Mike Matola on Instagram and Twitter. All right. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all at Fake Nerd Podcast, fakenerdguys@gmail.com. If you'd like to get in touch with us personally, I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. Ben?
You could find me just counting down the hours until my last day of work this week, because then I will be finally on a 2-week vacation, which is something I desperately need. The countdown has begun, gentlemen. At BenMagnet27 on Instagram and Twitter. And also, like we said earlier today, or earlier in the episode, I write for OldSchoolGamerMagazine.com. My newest article about the gaming organizer app GameEye is in the link in the description below. And also, hey, if you actually did watch the Olympic opening ceremonies, they played video game music when the countries were walking out. I think that's really cool. I'm probably going to write an article about that, because I think that's still really freaking cool.
Sparks?
Hey, I'm Sparks Witty. You can find me probably posting a thing I'm writing about Space Jam, A New Legacy. Finally writing a thing for the website. You can find me doing that at Sparks Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty. I have thoughts about Space Jam.
Is the title not Welcome to the Jam?
No, it's Space
Oh.
Jam: A New Travesty? Question mark.
Oh, okay.
And the disembodied face of Ryan.
You can find me.
Oh my god, that's your mouth?
Brian bad. You can find me coming and climbing all over the Space Jams at DJ Tony Snark. Goodbye, world.
Real quickly, Ryan, I don't know if you noticed, but I finally have a complete set of Magic the Gathering Godzilla cards.
What?
I now have.
What is it?
Oh, it's Dorat. I was able to. Sparks gave me Dorat, which becomes King Ghidorah in the Heisei era.
It's a little cutie.
Yeah. I'm not gonna put that up right now. I'm too high for that. All right, that'll do it for us.
That's your mouth.
Subscribe to us on. We've had a lot of fun today. It's your mouth. Durf was fun.
You missed the derp.
You missed Durf back Durf.
Derp, yeah.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music Podcasts, and Pandora. Rate and review wherever you get us. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and until next week, guys, stay fake nerds.
Nick guys.